I saw
This
that.
Pac-Man machine.
Yes.
Who do I have to kill?
Pac-Man himself. You have
All
to,
right.
You have to off a legend.
I'm gonna become a ghost.
Yep.
Become a ghost. Kill Pac-Man.
Yep.
Done. Let me just drink some strychnine really quick.
Why would you do that?
I want the Miss Pac-Man arcade cabinet.
Wouldn't it just be easier to purchase it instead of killing a beloved video game icon?
I don't know. I really
It's
don't know.
2020. You have to kill to get what you want in 2020.
Yeah. We got to get that other
We're
thing
living in
set
COVID
up.
times.
You got to get that other thing set up at the office too.
I do. I have an NBA Jam cabinet that I need to set up still. I walked by it not approvingly, but I haven't set it up yet. So bad.
I have not been available much either. That's partly on me.
Yeah, we gotta get there and do the thing.
Get there, do the thing. I'll motivate you guys.
I'm not sure where.
Do the thing.
Where should we put it, David?
There.
That's the thing. I think that you should pick a room and have it be the arcade. Like,
we need to pick a room and label it the arcade?
Yeah, like we should start putting cabinets in there. Yeah.
You can make a streaming setup with it too.
I don't want to put it in the VR room then.
No, not the VR room.
Because then that distracts from the VR room, and then it'll just become a mess.
We have so many unused rooms in that place. Just let's designate one in our.
You have to realize though that a lot of those rooms are not unused. They're literally inventory of hoodies and shirts that I'm trying
as we cycle that stuff out.
If I ever get to the point where room number 6 is empty, I think room number 6 is a perfect candidate for this.
Okay, because otherwise, where are we going to put it? Like, you want to set it up, so where are we going to put it?
Maybe in the Army of Techno room?
Oh.
There's room there.
Sharing space. The Army of Techno is going to get a roommate, a bunch of athletes.
I mean, if it's a couple of these My Arcades,
which other,
against the wall,
we need to get another one. Street Fighter.
There's a Street Fighter one.
There's a Street Fighter.
There's a Street Fighter one.
There's also the cocktail cabinet with 10 Street Fighter games. Plus,
there's this Burger Time one, or one that has Burger Time that has some bangers on it. I can't remember. It's like a 4-game-in-1 cab.
But let me tell you about a 10-game-in-1 cocktail table with Street Fighter.
It's a cocktail table?
I don't have that much room in this house, so I'm waiting for them to bring out those little miniature pinball tables that they're doing with Zen Studios. Which
those tabletop ones.
Yes,
we saw those at CES. They looked awesome.
Yes, we did. Those were outstanding. That's where we signed NBA Jam too.
That was before the Death Stranding.
It was in the before times.
Yeah.
Also, if you realize that you are probably at this rate on track to go 1 year without traveling,
I'm so excited about that.
I bet you are.
It's amazing. This is like
living being as excited as you are is probably taking a nap. And
Ozzy's also in that boat. Like
I literally the last possible weekend of travel, as in I found out that everything got canceled after I landed in Chicago.
That was the Mortal Kombat thing, right?
Yeah. That was a hell of a ride.
Ozzy literally, his event got canceled in the air.
Not even in the air. I was on the ground. I was in the Uber.
Oh, that's right. You had already landed, and they're like, "Welcome to Chicago, Ozzy."
I can't even tell them to turn the plane around because the plane's already landed.
Like, no Ed Boon for you. Goodbye.
No anybody for me.
Good day, sir.
I had nobody but the PR people.
Oh man.
At least they gave me a Spawn figure for my troubles.
That's nice, I guess. I don't think
that's a friendship move right there.
That is friendship.
That's totally a metaphor, because like friendship is like, I just kicked your ass up and down this level, but here's a doll. And it's like you just flew to Chicago, but here's a doll. You know,
it's full of COVID.
Yeah. So I guess this is the beginning of the show, right?
Yep.
We're gonna get into. We have a whole rundown of topics that we're gonna hit. But I figured this is like, we like to do our little witty banter at the beginning. I got a question for Ozzy and David, since I think both of you, this question would apply. What do you think of Briefcase Level 8? How's that treating you?
It's treating me terrible. I moved on to the 4-year Mario Maker stuff to try and practice.
Ozzy's like, I need to go to a nicer place. I'm out of here. Then Ozzy discovers 4-year Mario Maker. He's like, this is delightful.
Then I got to that Mortal Koopas level, and I'm like, oh my god, that's somehow an even worse boss rush. At least
Ozzy,
I have checkpoints.
Do you beat the levels just traditionally, or do you go after the cake?
I do go after the cake. I found the cake in the Dead Space level. I was proud of myself.
Okay, because I
Dead
think
Space
that's
level is
part
no
of
joke.
it. Like, I love that that's an element of the 4-year Mario Maker. That is actually it's the 4th anniversary of the 1st anniversry of Mario.
It's really weird how they numbered it, and that's why I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna quote you on how you are defining this because I don't know how to define it myself.
It's the 4th anniversary of Mario Maker for Wii U's 1st anniversary.
Oh, good lord!
That's what this is. It is the most confusing Super Mario Maker event of all time, but I have to say the levels are delightful. And I love
they're planning 5-year Mario Maker in September 2021.
But have you seen these music levels?
Yes, I've seen them.
They're so good.
Going back to Mortal Koopas, it's a boss rush and a music level. It's awesome.
Yeah. Oh man, one of the best. I've been watching because like now that I've finished building Briefcase level 8, I can now go.
You gotta take a break.
No, I can go make Super Briefcase World, and I've really been thinking about it. I've been watching a lot of gameplay and watching and playing levels, right? I've been watching a lot of Grand Pooh Bear, so he's been streaming all the 4-year Mario Maker levels.
We're enjoying Grand Pooh Bear before he becomes a full-time Fall Guy streamer.
When he goes pro in Fall Guys next week. Oh, man. But yeah, I've been getting inspired and like watching things and like really thinking about worlds and how you could build a world and like each world has a theme and you could do so many different things with this game. So it's like storyboarding out my 8 worlds and my 5 levels in each world and really thinking about that. And like I said, I have to go back and play Super Mario World before I do that. But the Briefcase level 8 is all the evil that I have in me. That's it. All the darkness.
You've hit your evil limit?
The darkness of the pandemic and the height of the protests and the police state that has ensued, all of that negative energy. A lot of people were just like not doing anything, or I don't know. I took the negative energy and I made that level. I was like, this is going to be that time period in the Mario Maker level. And it's very hard, and it's a series of it's a series of boss challenges. It's not like I look at other boss battles though, and I'm like, oh man, I could have done this differently and I could have done that. But what you have to realize about this level, like if you download it,
I don't know how to respond to that.
Shut the fuck up, Siri. No one's talking to you.
No one knows how to respond to Briefcase level 8, Siri.
No one is ever talking to you.
So perfect.
I hate Siri. Anyway, I'm happy to go on to I want to make a world that most people could play. I don't want to make something that is impossible. I feel like this level, it requires a miraculous run. Now, there is a Shack staffer who has beaten this. His name is Steve Tominski, and he is world record holder on the level.
He's got all the bragging rights right now.
How about that? Steve T. After David proclaimed that he would be the first, some random jaboofer, not named Steve T. I don't even know who the hell he was.
Oh, I
thought you were calling Steve T a random jaboofer.
No. Steve T's not a random jaboofer. The first guy to clear. The first clear went to some random jaboofer.
Yeah, it was some rando. Man, I've gotten close so many times, but I made a practice level to get good with the clown car, and I have not had a lot of time to play video games at all lately.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm planning on getting back to Briefcase level 8 this weekend because I know the clown car. I can control it now. I'm jacked into the matrix of the clown car. And that's really the last obstacle in my way. I don't even know what Bowser could throw at me that would be as frustrating as the clown car.
I don't
wonder
want
if I
to
could make a
spoil
good
it.
clown car tutorial level. There's got to be something out there.
He made one for himself. I
Yeah,
told
I
him
just
to.
built one.
I told David, I'm like, go make one. If you can't
How-
do this. Because David, like, he's like, how? How do I do this? I literally got my phone out and I showed him on my Switch how I played through that area. And he was like, I can't do it.
I couldn't.
And I'm like, out of everything else in this level, he has beaten every Koopaling
everything else is platforming.
and Bowser Jr. And I would argue that Bowser Jr. is the hardest, most RNG part of the level.
Chaotic, yeah, it's tough.
It is madness, right? Yeah. That is insanity. So then it's like, after the insanity, here you go, here's a Koopa clown car. And you know what's funny?
The Koopa clown car is what makes a story. It's the best.
It's great, right? The Koopa clown car. I originally, Ozzy, I had run out of keys. Like, there's like, I ran out of doors. I ran out of keys. There were so many constraints in this level. There's a reason why Ludwig comes right after another boss. I had simply run out of space. There was nowhere else to go. I had doors on the upper level. You know, like there's two sub areas, right? The upper sub area, I was maxed out, so I had to go back down. And then obviously Bowser Jr.'s down there. So I'm like, how do I make it where you have to beat Bowser Jr.? So the key or whatever in this scenario is the Koopa clown car. And then, of course, I put more spikes and fire after that.
Yeah.
Unnecessary spikes and fire.
Yeah.
I went back, and I looked at the level, and I'm like, if this is truly a successor to Briefcase Level 5, it has to have unnecessary amounts of spikes and fire. And it does.
I genuinely like everything up to the clown car because I think it's good platforming. I honestly do.
It's a mix. It's a mix of very challenging. It's a challenging series of platforming, and then very traditional boss battle.
Yeah, I have optimal strats for everything up to the clown car. Even the bosses, like they fire off their projectiles maybe once, depending.
There's no strategizing the clown car. The clown car is just, it takes you where it wants to go.
Well, one time I beat Bowser Jr. He falls in the lava or whatever. The clown car is drifting. A fireball shoots up, plop, into the clown car.
Yeah. Yeah. It breaks the level. Yeah.
And I text Asif, I'm like, oh, I think you have a soft lock here. He's like, nope, that's happened before, LOL. And I'm like, fuck. So I just went back to Animal Crossing for a little bit. I couldn't. He broke my brain, so I needed a break.
I was
you
like,
went to go join the 22 million people on Animal Crossing.
Well, I realized that it was a certain amount of the time that it happened, David. It's like, if you sit there and wait, you're going to get screwed over by lava jumping into the clown car. And I think that's just even more of a funny troll element of it. Because you shouldn't be waiting in this level. This level, you should be booking it at all times.
No, my strategy now is I just jump in as soon as I can and then get a mushroom and then proceed to the unnecessary spikes and fire.
But anyway, I salute the two people who have beaten this level and everyone who's played it. And I love that the people who have beaten the level have not liked it. They did not like the level. They have cleared it.
They
and
thumbs down.
Steve Teeth booed the level.
Did he do it?
Familiar? Blake, is that familiar?
Boo.
I see Blake do
thumbs
that on
down
stream.
one. Yeah,
I never forget. It hurts.
I stand by
Hurts
my
as a
thumbs
maker
down.
to get to watch a live stream and see your level be booed.
You booed my last level, and
I did.
Skankor said it was good.
Your level was good. It just was. It needed a couple of things. It also drove me insane.
You get more fire and spikes.
A couple of things, and they are both no clown cars.
Nope, I'm done. You know what? There's going to be a clown car world. It's going to be a world of just clown cars.
Look what you brought on yourself, David.
Just a world. And they're going to be on rails.
No.
And on rails.
Auto scroll.
Auto scroll
Oh, come
clown
on.
car
Fast
level.
auto scroll.
David's gonna throw up in his mouth right now. No, I wouldn't do that to you. I
I
don't
wonder
know.
if I could make something like
I
that.
love the clown car. When I
Ozzy,
see the clown
stop.
car, I think of Super Mario World. It makes me feel happy.
But in SMB1, the clown car is just so terrible.
Yeah, it is bad in that tile set. That's true.
It's in World or whatever. It's New Super Mario Bros. Is the tile set for
Yeah.
level 8.
Yeah.
It's not terrible. The clown car is not terrible in that tile set.
I like how that's the defense of everyone who uses it. Like, it's not terrible. Like,
Of course, it's an element of it's
bad,
a
but it's not
variable.
that bad.
I think it's a great variable to throw into a level at the very end. After you've gotten through everything and you've optimized your strats or whatever the hell you guys say.
Only Bowser can drive that thing with any level of efficiency. Nobody taught
That's
Mario
true.
how to drive that thing.
Yeah, no.
That's I gave it to Bowser Jr. in this.
Yeah, he's underage. That explains a lot about the clown car.
And the whole situation that he's got going on in there.
Yeah.
The lava and the
He's an underage
Koopas.
driver. Yeah.
he's partying in the basement. His dad doesn't even know about it.
I've come to really appreciate Bowser's parenting style after everything I've seen in Paper Mario. Just how he talks about everything he puts into raising Bowser Jr. And I'm just like, that family dynamic's the best. I would watch a sitcom with those two.
Yeah. It,
Well-
Bowser's like the dad who like leaves his first family and goes off to have a new one. And all the Koopalings are like, what the hell?
Bowser has to pay like 7x child support.
Yeah, he does. That's true.
Well, I guess we should start the show
Yes, we should.
in honor of Bob-omb.
Let's get this clown car on the road.
Let's get the clown car on the road. Blake, would you like to sing us in?
Sure. Kinda shacking, kinda cast. Listen and you'll have some laughs, have some fun, and you'll agree you're listening to Shackcast. Oh, Shackcast. Oh, listening to that Shackcast. All right.
Wow.
There you go.
Welcome to the Shackcast, the official Shacknews podcast of Shacknews. I'm your host, Austin Cunham, CEO, editor-in-chief, chief puppy wrangler, but not this week because Lola's like, what is this social distance nonsense? I'm out of this. For that reason, I'm out. She's in her room sleeping or something. But yeah, I'm normally chief puppy wrangler. I did drive the mean streets of Canton, Ohio yesterday, David.
Yeah. The streets are a little less mean for me. I have to throw this in there because our listeners might have followed the saga of the many rust buckets I've been driving around.
Mm-hmm.
But no longer. I've upgraded. I've joined the hybrid revolution, and I still love my car. I've had it for like 2 weeks now, but I'm still loving it.
Yeah, you got a Volt, a Chevy Volt.
I did.
Its name is Batman.
It's the Batmovolt.
It's the Batmobile.
Batmovolt. Yeah.
Batmovolt.
Yeah.
Got you.
I think you may need a few more rounds of branding there.
I wanted
User feedback.
the Batvoltmobile or the Voltmobile, but Amy was like, "No, it's the Batmovolt," and I was like, "Okay, it's the
The
Batmovolt."
Batmovolt?
That's you look, man. When you're married, Ozzy knows what I'm talking about. That's all. That's all. I see. He's nodding. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
honey, it's the Batmovolt. You know, okay.
It is.
Yeah.
So, you've had it for 2 weeks. Are you mainly using electricity?
Yeah. There was like I drove on gasoline the other day just for fun, but yeah, like normally I charge it. It charges in like I have a 110 volt socket in my garage.
Okay.
It takes like 8 hours, but I just do it overnight, and when I go out the next day, the green light is flashing. It's ready to go.
So you're fully charged with overnight charging.
Yep.
And that gets you like 40 miles?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. It's smooth. It's quiet.
In current present day pandemic times, 40 miles of charge in Canton, Ohio is a lot.
That's all you need, dude. Like I can go out 2 or 3 times to like the strip areas like that without needing to plug it back in.
You know, if there was one positive to COVID times is I love being able to go to like my burger joint that's normally like 35 minutes and get there in 20. But we're still in COVID times and traffic's back to normal. What the shit?
Yeah, that is a problem. I was
What
going to
the
say
hell?
the same thing here, Ozzy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like nothing's happening anymore. We're just acting like this is not.
Well, the streets are mean all over Ohio because our Governor DeWine, has tested positive for
That's right.
COVID.
Oh yeah, so I guess I should fully introduce everyone. This is David, also in Canton, Ohio, but everyone knows David. Our long reads editor in the long read mines, literally.
Yeah.
This is the long read mines. You're broadcasting live from them.
I am. There are a lot of books, a lot of books to mine. I've been in there all year though. I think there'll be 5 by the end of the year.
But you're doing a lot of interviews from your desk here.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what your schedule's looking like, and
yeah,
this might be just this one. This is as Chris Gerard would put, a banger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this one's taking so much energy. I'm gonna phone them in for like the next year, just so you know, because this one's
Well, luckily there won't be anything happening for years now.
That's true.
Because the pandemic's gonna still be going on.
Yeah, that's
big David energy. That's
right, man.
And then we got 2 folks beaming in from a series of tubes through California. Through the desert. Probably there's a lot of desert between us and you guys.
Yes. We have the 5 between us.
We got Blake Morris, our reviews editor.
Hey, that's me. That's who I am.
And the host of The Dump and our stimulus
Wide
games.
World Electronic
Esports commentator. Yeah.
Basically, if it's on the internet, I'll host it.
Also, Professor Robot, I think, was talking smack about you on the stimulus games.
He was.
He said you're like their number 1 fan of cartoon violence.
I'm a total bitch for cartoon violence. I'm a big fan of theirs.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
And then Ozzy Mejia's in Southern California. So we have all of California represented except for that giant middle part with cows.
That middle part sucks anyway.
Oh my God. There's definitely a part of I-5 that just smells like cow shit
Totally
for about an hour. And like if you don't
hours.
And it's like if you don't have air conditioning, welcome to your own fresh hell.
It's just poop. It just smells like poop.
You're either dealing with like the warm poop smell, or you're dealing with like trying to not suffocate in your car. You got to pick one when you don't have air conditioning.
Or travel through that area.
You don't want a cheap rental car when you're trying to drive up California.
No.
Yeah, that's so true.
Go a few tiers up.
But yeah, how's that pandemic treating you, California?
Oh, horribly.
Yeah.
It's
the mayor's about to turn off lights on the COVID parties. Like he's literally gonna pull the plug.
That's awesome.
We don't really have that problem here.
Did you hear about the shooting at the COVID party in Beverly Hills?
I missed that.
Yeah, there was someone with an AK-47.
Oh, that part. COVID. Yeah, I think I might have heard that.
Yeah. There's someone with an AK-47 at some rich person's house. And the rich person, I heard the chief of police outside, and they're like, "Look, these people are having a private event. Like all of our mandates are for public gatherings. But if someone has like property and has like 90 people on their property, apparently it's not against the law to do that."
I mean, he would know. He's having his own private COVID parties from last weekend, apparently.
Yeah.
The police were all apparently gathered up at a place called Sassafras, which I can't believe that's a real place. It's like a Yosemite Sam saloon or something, a Sassafras. But yeah, the cops are all having their own COVID parties. So,
oh man, well,
we're in hell time. We're in hell times over here.
Yeah, and you know what I mean. So like, briefcase level 8 doesn't seem so bad by comparison.
Yes, it does.
You could be in California right now.
Well, it's almost it's like throwing gas on a fire. It's like you're already dealing with COVID. Why not torture yourself with one of the most difficult Super Mario Maker 2 levels ever made? It's like just whipping. It's like those monks that would whip themselves with cat o' nine tails on their backs.
It's literally the 8th level in an 8-level series, and it's the final boss. Like, was it supposed to be easy?
Maybe the 8th level of hell. I think they talked about that in Dante's Inferno.
That you could look at the briefcase levels in the context of Dante's Inferno.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember that when they come upon your Super Mario Maker 2 level.
Yeah, and
They're
it's just
traveling.
like they're like, oh my god, I have to play all 8 of these.
And the guy
The
is
20-second
like,
one isn't that bad.
try and beat this shit, Dante.
Have
And
you played
Dante's all
level
like,
7?
I wasn't even supposed to be here today.
And screw that. I'm gonna go catch a Pikachu instead.
In which one? Go?
Both.
Or
Both.
Go and Shield?
There's a whole wild area event going down in Sword and Shield right now, where you catch the entire Pikachu family, including the Alolan Raichu, which I caught last night. I had to go straight over to catch that. It was all about that.
So
I'm sad Donovan's not here. Donovan knows what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about too. So I can I can catch a Raichu?
No, Sword and Shield.
Oh god, I don't want to play that.
Yeah, you do. Come on, it's not that bad.
I don't.
It's about to outsell Breath of the Wild.
You know what? That's a good transition, Ozzy.
Yes, it is.
I've been playing Animal Crossing instead.
You were playing Animal Crossing instead of playing Fall Guys with us a few days ago.
I was playing Animal Crossing in between sessions of Fall Guys with you guys because the way Fall Guys is set up is that I had 10 minutes in between gameplay.
It's gotten better if it helps. In the last day or so, it's gotten a lot better.
No, I know the servers are gotten better, but the fundamental way that their team mechanic works or party mechanic works is broken. They need to make something based on parties of 4 staying together through the competition. Instead of it like just randomly you're on a red team this time together, randomly you're on this team. And that's not fun. I think if you were to actually take it one step further and be like parties of 4, like in PUBG or in any battle royale, you know? That would make it more fun for at least parties. I think it's a fundamental issue I have with their matchmaking right now when it comes to parties. But they also need to open up private matches or some sort of server-based thing. There's like this game could be massive with just a couple little things.
I think it will. I think it will be in spite of that. Like I'm hooked right now.
But yeah, so they've had 1.5 million downloads in like a week or something on the combined Steam and PlayStation. Let's talk about Animal Crossing. Holy crap. 22 million copies.
Yeah.
It's outsold Breath of the Wild. It's outsold Mario Odyssey.
It hasn't even been out 6 months yet. That's the like mind-blowing thing about it.
3 months and 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, basically, it's been the pandemic game. And everybody's like, well, if we're going to be stuck, sheltered in place, we're going to be stuck, and we have one game, we're going to play Animal Crossing.
So here's the thing. I and Asif and I were talking about this before we went live. I expected this to sell around like 10 to 15 million copies by maybe the end of the year, maybe within 12 months of its release, because Animal Crossing has become one of those games that a dedicated fan base buys Nintendo hardware for, right? But like, I do feel like there is a 5 to 10 million pandemic windfall of purchases there.
Well, look at the Switch sales.
Yeah,
Switch hit 61 million, really close to, like this close to the NES. Like, It's very likely that they have surpassed the NES in sales.
Mm-hmm.
The Nintendo Entertainment System, right? That's a huge milestone for them. All that's left is that Wii, when it comes to consoles, when it comes to handhelds, there's a lot left. There's the 3DS, there's the DS.
And then the Game Boy, like, way.
The Game Boy is actually below the DS. The DS is the highest selling.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I can, I'll Google that shit right now for you.
And that's that the Switch had supply problems. Like, you couldn't find a Switch for a long time during the pandemic.
These numbers would be higher, not the software numbers. The hardware numbers would be higher if they could have made and delivered enough Switches during the quarter.
So, I slightly related, a lateral step. One of the Xbox guys I'm talking to for my next long read was the director of marketing at Nintendo. Ozzy, he did the Mario 3 commercial. He launched the Game Boy. He did the Play It Loud commercial for SNES.
Oh, nice.
He actually said, Oh yeah, Nintendo, like Mr. Arakara in the States was like, make sure to have slightly less Game Boy so we cause an intentional supply shortage to drive up hype. I'm like, Nintendo supply shortage intentional confirmed. Like,
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, we've seen it before. We've seen it with the Switch. We saw it with Amiibos when they
You
first
could
came out.
argue we saw it
The
with
great
the
Amiibo
Wii.
shortage of
it's not just
We
that we
saw it with
saw
the
it.
Wii
It's
at
that this is
launch.
from the horse's mouth now.
Oh
So,
yeah. No,
yeah.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to give you some context, Game Boy sold 118.69 million units.
Yeah.
That's the second best-selling Nintendo product of console or handheld of all time.
Mhm.
Number one is the Nintendo DS, which sold 154 million units.
Wow.
I bought at least 2 of those.
And then the number one console is the Wii with 101.63 million. I would say that the fact that we're at NES right now, which is 61.9, we're like right there.
Yeah.
If you include Switch Pro to the Switch Lite family, and this is a 10-year cycle,
yeah,
I think they're gonna hit the DS number, or at least the Wii number. Like this is going to be a very long.
It's going to be a 10-year cycle at least. And because go ahead, Ozzy.
There's going to be a big sales jump too, like when the next consoles come out, because there's going to be families out there who are going to look at a PS5 and look at an Xbox Series X and be like, we're not going to spend $500-$600 on this. Hey, that Switch over there, that's $299. Let's just get one of those.
Or $200 in the case of the Switch Lite.
Yeah, that's
like, think about that, especially in this economy. $600 or $200. Like families are making that decision already. They're not even waiting. They're buying these Switches when they can, and they're buying Ring Fit like whenever they possibly can. That game
whenever
is selling,
it shows up.
You know what's interesting though, and I know we'll get more into this later, but the price I don't think is just going to be $200 or $600. The price I think this holiday will be $600 to $200 or $10 a month for Game Pass, and that's kind of we'll have that conversation later. But we've talked about, I think maybe since last fall, we wondered, look, the new consoles are coming out in fall 2020. Animal Crossing is currently doing a good job of carrying Nintendo through the spring and the summer. But I still wonder what their holiday 2020 release will be to kind of steal as much of the news cycles from PS5 and Xbox Series X as they can. It's not going to be Breath of the Wild 2 at this point, or we would have heard about it. So I was wrong there. I still think it's going to be a bunch of Mario ports. I feel like that's the only thing that would get people... Because, I mean, I think you're right. I think parents are going to go for the Switch this holiday over the new console, specifically because of the state of the economy. But like, what is Nintendo's Q4 release? I'm still very curious about that. And
Animal Crossing doesn't have anything outside of the Pikmin remaster. Like I don't think that's going to do it.
No,
I don't think they necessarily need one.
I guess they don't. I mean, I guess
like
they just ride Animal Crossing for however long.
I think that's what their attitude is. Like, you remember when they had Smash? That's like all they cared about.
But that was December though. Like that was technically that's a Q4 release. But
they like this year. I feel like they have Animal Crossing. There is definitely something coming in the Mario space.
Yeah.
This little dribble of Mario stuff that we're having early in the year, this was going to be Mario's year. They really had a setback with the Nintendo world.
Yeah.
Like everything related to their PR had to change because Super Nintendo World did not open this year. It may have even affected a game's release. So, like, I think that is why we're getting this dribble. And then this week we got Pikmin 3 Deluxe. It's like here. It's like what would have been a Nintendo Direct in June has dribbled out in about 3 months.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
do
we've
appreciate the 3 month, the 2-3 month turnaround between announcement and release. Like they announced Paper Mario in May, and it was already out like in mid-July. Like I can appreciate a quick cycle like that.
Yeah, they're not going to wait. They're not going to hype stuff unless it's Zelda or Metroid. They're just going to be like, and it's out next month, or it's out here. Like it's out on now. I wish they did more stuff like Tetris 99.
Yeah,
I wish there was more stuff like that happening.
there's still not a lot of value in Nintendo Switch Online.
No.
Other
But I think that's a whole other thing. But they don't care. People are buying Animal Crossing as is, like hand over fist right now. They're probably buying Switches to play it. I think what's happening is also this. Families are getting more than one Switch.
Mhm.
It's a device. I think people are sleeping on this very fact. And as an investor in Nintendo, full disclosure, I own stock in this company. I have for a very long time. This is like I just think that they have like a very. They're not incentivized to change right now.
No.
They're like, this is working. We can do nothing. We can sell the same Switch. We don't have to make a Switch Pro. We don't have to lower our prices. We can just do this.
I mean,
I think that's their attitude this year. So when it comes to the releases, because their guidance, David, to your point, is very low. They did not. They beat. This is Nintendo for you. Listen to this. Nintendo beat expectations by 450% in the quarter.
Yeah.
They did not increase their full year guidance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're acting like this way better than expected quarter isn't going to affect their full year results. Like that's saying like we're gonna suck. The next half of the year is gonna suck for us. So one of two things is happening here at Nintendo. They're either sandbagging and they do have something, or they're being honest and they don't have any first party title for this holiday. Or maybe it slipped. Maybe Breath of the Wild 2 slipped. And they haven't told us that because they don't have to anymore. Because they stopped telling us release dates. So they don't delay games anymore.
You know, if Nintendo is really not in the console wars anymore, they might just be like trying to avoid the holiday season because they don't need to be part of that like scramble to get like the blockbuster game out or whatever.
The other thing that happened, the other thing that we know for sure now that we didn't know in June is that PlayStation and Microsoft are not attacking Nintendo in any way in the Nintendo Switch space. You could argue xCloud on a phone. No. I mean, no one is making a handheld gaming device other than Apple, really.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's of any kind of consequence.
So,
and Nintendo, like the Switch has this niche right now that I think is secured for at least 5 years.
Here's the thing. Do you know, Asif, of the 22.4 million, I think, copies of New Horizons that have sold, do we know how many of those, like the ratio of physical to digital? Because if it's overwhelmingly digital, I don't think logistics that have affected other manufacturers during COVID would have any bearing on Nintendo launching Mario ports. Like, I'm sure they'll put out physical editions of those, but those seem like digital sales to me, you know? Like, I'm gonna
it's let me see if I can find it. There's a
Does that make sense, Ozzy? Like if it's a new game, yeah, you absolutely want to consider logistics of physical copies. But for a bunch of HD ports that have probably been in development for a while, because this is the 35th anniversary of Nintendo's flagship character, I don't see any barrier to them releasing physical or digital ports of those games by Q4.
I feel like they like having that physical number. Like they still like being able to say, hey, we have new Super Mario Brothers U that's doing like 13 million and outselling a bunch of our first run Switch stuff, which is really kind of a funny number in itself. But
yeah, so their digital revenues were up 229% on a year-on-year basis. So yes, a lot of this was definitely download. And that is like that's part of the story on why their margins are better than expected too.
Yeah.
So the margins on digital are way better than physical. They're not incentivized to be a physical medium company forever. They just like cartridges. They're weird.
The other thing is, the reason I asked, not only because I don't think the logistics would ship HD ports, because people are going to buy Mario no matter what, but the reason I think digital sales, or at least the primary reason digital sales spiked, is because for a long time this year, people weren't going out of the house. So they were shopping, they were buying digital goods because that was much safer than going to Walmart or Target or, GameStops weren't even open. Curbside, a lot of companies were really slow to adapt to curbside pickup. So being able to be like, oh, Animal Crossing's out, go to the eShop, have it, and within 10 minutes you're downloaded and playing. That is going to be a huge thing going forward,
And that's a tailwind for them for years.
Yeah.
But that's just another, they're so slow to adopt these things that when they finally do, they're huge for the company. Their margins are going to be better than they've ever been because of this. And they're at this junction where there's so many Switches out there that whenever there's an incremental Switch buyer, there's so many games already out there that they can buy. So I think that they have to have a title to compete with these other games. Yes and no at this point. As long as they have something good for when Switch Pro comes out, I think that's more important than a good game in the third year, other than Animal Crossing, another banger.
Breath of the Wild 2 goes with Switch Pro.
Yeah, I feel like Breath of the Wild 2 should slip, and it should be a Switch Pro launch in 2022.
I've been saying that for a year. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it should be a Switch Pro launch title in 2022, and it should showcase the Switch Pro.
You can survive. Amazing. You can survive on Mario remasters.
Yeah, they could totally coast on what they have right now, and just this third-party existence. Indie games on Switch sell very well. They quit doing attachment rates because it's close to $300 of software are bought for each Switch.
Mm-hmm.
It's not it's not $60 games necessarily. Sometimes that's 3 indies are $60,
Mm-hmm.
But they've quit using attach as a metric. I don't know. This is a company that's in a really interesting place though, and I don't think they have any incentivized to do anything because they didn't have to do anything to their hardware lineup, and it's selling like gangbusters. It's selling better than it did when they were trying a year ago.
I think the problem they could run into, although it won't be the same, is an N64 situation where if they don't plan ahead and have games ready, there will be a drought. But that's different because, yes, now they have that third-party support. They have that indie support, or rather they are supporting indies, which is the crucial differentiator there. But yeah, I think that I don't think launching a new game in Q4 is necessarily on the horizon. I don't think they need to, but I do think we get at least 2 or 3 Mario remasters this year. It's the 35th anniversary, and I don't think they should rest on their laurels because, they're doing great now, but there will be a lot of excitement around the new consoles because they're new. Even people who can't afford them are going to be going on Twitch watching people play PS5 and Series X games.
I just think they had some plan for Super Nintendo World. There was going to be a game based on that.
It did get foobarred. I agree. Yeah.
And
man, give me Nintendo Land 2, please.
Right, Ozzy. Think about it. Think about Nintendo Land, but for Switch.
Think about how many people would actually play Nintendo Land as opposed to the low install base of the Wii
what?
U.
I want Wii Sports Resort on Switch.
I want all those games back. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Wii Sports Resort sold 80 million copies. Sports Resort sold 32 million copies. Why wouldn't you make just a straight up redux of that?
What was the Ring Fit number, Asif? I'm curious about that.
They've sold over 4 million copies, I think.
That's really good. Good.
I read
for a game that nobody can find. It's amazing.
I read somewhere, Ozzy, that it is the best JRPG IP launch in 15 years or something.
It's technically a JRPG. I mean, they're not wrong about that.
Yeah, I've read that that people have been kind of touting that. But yeah, no, it's not even in their top 10. I don't think in 2017, if I was oh yeah, Animal Crossing, give me the second highest selling game on the Switch, no one's going to believe me. But that's where we are. Right below Mario Kart.
When I first started at Shack, that's when Animal Crossing 3DS is coming out, and
New Leaf.
I remember I just remember just the bonkers reaction for it, and people were around the office were just buying it left and right, and it's I didn't think it would blow up into this. I kind of had an idea, but I didn't think it would be like this
The
big.
game is so fun. It has honestly been the perfect cure-all, not cure-all, but just a balm for me during this pandemic. Like I've been struggling with some mental health stuff as well. A lot of people have. And Animal Crossing is flawed, and we'll talk more about that, I'm sure, near the end of the year. But like that game, it is just so relaxing to boot that up and play for like 20, 30 minutes. And like I think that a lot of people are seeking that out. What's that, Blake?
I think that Animal Crossing replaced toil for a lot of people. You know what I mean? I think it replaced arbitrary tasks, things they would normally do.
Yeah, just like menial, keep your hands busy, sort of.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like you can't do gardening or something. Well, you can build a garden in your Animal Crossing. You can't, go out shopping. Well, go
Yeah, I mean,
your Animal Crossing.
it's interesting how Animal Crossing is catered to so many desires, whims, and needs. Like as Blake says, you can like, hey, if you don't feel comfortable going out, go shopping in Animal Crossing. Express yourself creatively by building cool structure. Like I built a 3-story library, and I'm pretty damn proud of that thing. I think I spent like 6 hours on a Sunday putting it together. You can, yeah, there are a lot of problems with the multiplayer, but going over to your friend's island and seeing them during this time while you're talking on the phone or using Nintendo's voice app, just kidding. It's nice. It's relaxing to just like go to Ossoff Island and fish. You remember for a while we were going over to Sam's Island because Sam, being on the southern hemisphere, is in a different season.
He has different bugs, different bugs. Yeah, everything.
It's just relaxing, and I
do like that idea a lot.
Yeah, like we've all cooled off on the stock market, but it was pretty fun. And our staff, Animal Crossing Slack channel, would be like, "Hey, who's got deals on turnips? Can I come over to your island? Can I sell some stuff?" It was fun. Like I still, one of my favorite memories of this year is during the Monday meeting when like 4 of us were just like, yeah, I'm not really paying attention. I'm on Josh's island or Ossoff's island.
I remember that.
We were taking like group photos.
We were taking photos on my beach. I remember that.
Because I'm the guy on the island. I haven't gotten into the Animal Crossing craze. Like I was looking at everybody like they were zombies when the 3DS one came out. I bought the 3DS one. I played it for like a couple of days and was like, I don't get it. Like what is?
I did not either. I didn't either at the beginning. But like it's just kind of soothing. It's just relaxing. It really is.
If I want relaxing, I'll go play Tetris Effect.
That's not.
Oh, that's a different sort of relax.
It's weird, Ozzy. That's a good analogy. I do like. I think Tetris Effect on theater mode is kind of the same vibe.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I sometimes will turn on Animal Crossing and it's in handheld and I just leave it on and I just let the music play and the water go by. Like,
yeah,
it's just a game that you can leave.
Soothing.
You can just kind of leave it on your desk. It's not. You're not gonna die. You're not gonna lose your progress. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a game that demands much of you, but at the same time, if you put something into it, you get to express yourself. And you see all this. I've seen like movie trailers shot in it, and like there's talk shows happening in it. I think it's
gameplay. Just a
hell,
lot.
You've seen political people in it. You've seen AOC has
dropping into your island. That's huge, and that's a social call.
I think that point is huge this year. That because I would say that I hang out with a lot of my friends in America or in Bill avoids in Canada. Bill's the person that I had no idea was going to end up liking Animal Crossing the way he did.
Oh, I see him on all the time.
And I think that's the story here, is that Animal Crossing, the group of people who like it has grown and is directly attributable to the pandemic.
Yeah.
It's like that video game where you're like, yeah, this is the one that directly it probably benefited. And that's weird to say. Like, you don't want to say benefited from a pandemic, but it has helped.
Yeah, we're going to look back at this like 5 years after the pandemic passes, assuming it ever passes, and we're going to look at Animal Crossing as like the game that got us through that whole disastrous period.
Because here's the thing. There's another angle to this, one I've talked about. Everything you do in Animal Crossing comes with positive reinforcement. The game never makes you feel bad. Even if you don't sell something or like you have one of your neighbors move away, you're like, that's a great idea. I'm ready to go seek adventure and you really help. Like that game never, ever makes you feel bad about yourself. And that's been super important for mental health this year. That's why like I'm not trying to sell Blake on this, but like Blake, you can get together with friends, instruments in the game, and play songs. Like people have released these. And it's just like, it's kind of a cool little thing. You know,
I turned
it's
my
like,
basement into like it's
yeah,
literally the Army of Techno rave basement. It has a barrel of crude oil
yeah,
and a bunch of amps. And I go down there. I have 3 actual songs in it. But if you've ever watched Potato Radio on my Army of Techno Twitch channel, I will just go down in my basement and show the gameplay of me in my basement while I play music over it.
yep.
But yeah, it's definitely it's not. I get why it's not for everyone because like some people aren't into city builders, some people aren't into Sims. I think that this is like a very basic kind of Nintendo Sim. But it's yeah. I was gonna say like hanging out with my friend. So my best friend from Canton moved to Japan, and he has 2 daughters. His daughter Emma plays on Switch. She's only allowed to play on the weekend, right? So sometimes Saturday night in Ohio, they'll call me up. It's Sunday morning over there.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll be like, I want to visit your island. So I'm like, okay. She comes over. We go fishing. I show her my house. I show her all the flowers. I show her what I've been doing. Then she has me come visit her island, and she shows me everything. Now her thing is she's jealous of my island. My island's not a whole lot to look at, honestly. But it was just funny seeing how a 6-year-old plays this game.
Yeah.
She chops down all of her trees. They're all gone. They're all just stumps. And then she buries the wood. So there's like a bunch of X's on the ground when you get there. And it's just, I'm like, what's going on here? So I start digging up these holes, and I'm like, Emma, this is wood. You should do something with this. Like, put it in your inventory.
Like,
She doesn't store stuff in her house. Like in her head, she just buries it so no one finds it. She was afraid of losing stuff. And I'm like, you can't. Like, it's all good. It's so funny because it's like it's been I don't know, probably like 2 months since she's had the game. It's like I said, she's only playing it maybe once a week at most. So it's like not a whole lot of time has gone by. But it's just funny. Like, she's still learning stuff about it and like wants to unlock stuff.
Fun, man. It's a way.
It's neat that I can do that. Like hang out with people in Japan in a virtual world. Obviously, we can do that in all sorts of games. That's one.
Here's something I'm wondering though. Do you think that people are gonna have the trauma of the pandemic like tied to Animal Crossing mentally? Like, is that gonna create PTSD for people like when it comes to the next version of Animal Crossing? Are they gonna want to avoid it because like hopefully by the time a new Animal Crossing comes out, like life will be somewhat back to the way it was before the pandemic. But you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I know. I think it'll be the opposite. People will be like, "Oh man, you know what? I made many friends. Let's hang out. Let's do the things we did before in this Animal Crossing." Like, I think people will.
Did you see how excited I was about this game before it launched?
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, Mallory from Discord. Do you follow her? Mallory Lore. She's like one of their community managers. She like was ape about this game. Like, there's a community of people behind New Leaf, especially, who were super excited for this game. I think that it's just going to be a snowball rolling down a hill situation. It doesn't matter that this game came out during these times. People found themselves in it. Streamers were born out of this. Like, I don't think it's going to be. I don't think people.
That's an interesting.
I think it'll be the opposite of that.
Yeah, it's almost like that game helped me during that period, so it's almost a positive instead of a negative.
I think that's an interesting thing to note is that this is the first Animal Crossing we got during the big Twitch boom, during like the period of streamers.
Yeah, I mean
that's what I mean. Like I don't know if you go. I browse by game on Twitch a lot of the time, and I'll watch just a random Animal Crossing stream, and be like,
Yeah.
this is delightful.
You
Because
know,
there's so many
our
random things. Like you see what people get into, and you're like, oh, I should try that.
yeah, I've uncovered a lot of cool stuff that way. And we have our island hopping show where we've been visiting one another's islands, kind of showcasing them, giving one another tours. There are a lot of shows like that, and sometimes I'll just put one of those on. Like, let me see what other people have built. And man, like people have built. There's this one woman who built. She took her home. She built cliffs behind it, built barn silos, but painted them white. So they looked like turrets in this huge castle. And like, it's wild the way people, it's like Lego blocks. Like, well, I could put it here, but then someone else I know would put it over here. And it's just this whole new thing. It's a really creative form of expression. It's like canvas, this game.
We'll change the topic real quick. But so Divix, I was going to call it Divix Island, but that's one character too many.
Oh.
So I had to go with Cape Divix, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Cape Divix finally got a 3-star rating.
Nice.
So we're not a total dump anymore. And KK Slider came to town, and I got terraforming.
Yeah.
So I did a little terraforming. I got some beef with terraforming. You can't change your coastline.
Nope.
That's stupid. That's really dumb. You should be able to change your coastline. I understand not being able to add more beach. Fine. But if there's like one little line that I could change to make a sidewalk better, I should be able to do that. And I can't, and that makes me angry.
I think
also,
everyone...
no inclines on corners? Why can't I do an incline on a corner? That's stupid. It would have been aesthetically pleasing. Instead, it has to be like this.
Yeah, I know. The other weird thing...
Trash game, 6 out of 10.
Oh, wow.
No, I still love it. It's just there's like little things about it where I'm like,
There are little things, but I also feel like creativity is born from limitations.
But I figured out what my level is, or what my island is. It's a race.
Oh.
I made a race.
An F-Zero style race?
Kinda. It's not really F-Zero because it's just people running. But I think I've made a race.
Is it the closest you'll get to F-Zero anytime in the next 2 years?
I'm like so bored. I turned my whole island into a lap.
Oh, dude.
But I think it's kind of neat. I think I can make it like kind of like a relay race even.
That sounds cool. Yeah, we won't get into the whole thing. I have beefs with terraforming. I think everyone does.
Yeah.
But again, like, you're going to turn your island into like a racetrack type thing. Like, that's kind of neat. The fact that you can even do that.
I also made a waterfall that is physically impossible.
Uh-huh.
Like there's two. I'm like, okay. But I was like, I always said if I'm going to do any terraforming, I'm going to add fishing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to subtract from the fishing. I see a lot of people who just pave over all of their water. I'm like, that's a travesty.
Yeah, that is.
For me, and why I've progressed so slowly in this game, the game at its core is really just about fishing. Like, that's what I like to do with it.
Super fun.
And yeah, that's why it's a great game. And I post pictures of it when I'm playing it. Mm-hmm. I got back into it after my Mario Maker stint. After I expelled that evil from my body that is briefcase level 8.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to take a nice long shower in some Animal Crossing. It's been nice. I had Celeste come to the island, and I got to watch the shooting stars. That's a really nice thing. There's fireworks right now.
Isabel comes outside during the fireworks.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it. On superparent.com, our buddy from the Cartridge family, John Benjamin, he wrote about watching the fireworks with his daughters. They have 3 Switches, so they all got together on one island and watched it together.
Like, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, I'm just saying,
that game has a lot of warts, but stuff like that.
But that's an example of why there's 22 million copies out there. That's one household and 3 Switches and 3 copies of Animal Crossing.
Yep.
Cha-ching.
My nieces both have Switches and Animal Crossing. Amy and I, 2 Switches, 2 copies of Animal Crossing.
In other news, all other stocks go up too. A bunch. Earnings, lots of them. Big companies getting bigger. Apple going to $2 trillion. Gonna split their stock. There you go. That's every other stock right now.
Yeah.
Did you see that hearing where the 4 horsemen of the tech apocalypse went to Washington?
Yes.
Via Skype?
That whole disaster?
That was so pathetic. And then literally the next day, all those companies reported earnings, Ozzy. On the same afternoon. It's just, I don't know. I'm like, okay, guys. But yeah, they're not. And then today, there was news that Mark Zuckerberg, there's emails that are being leaked of him saying that he would actively push against an Elizabeth Warren candidacy.
Yep.
So that's, if you're using Facebook today, why? I gotta keep up with my friends. It's the only place my friends post stuff of dogs.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I don't like using Facebook, but it is the one place where I can get. I get a lot of readers who message me through Facebook. More of them are doing it on Twitter because I don't actively update my Facebook.
It's a chicken and egg scenario now for a content creator because there's 2.4 billion people on Facebook. So it's like, I gotta be there. There's 2.4 billion people there. Where am I supposed to go?
Yeah. It's also where most of my music industry contacts are.
Yeah. I've found a lot of developers for this long read in particular on Facebook. Like I have to have it for contacts. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's like that it was like that for MySpace.
Like honestly, most of the people that are important in my life, I probably do not need it to contact them. But musicians, keeping up with the people that I share a music space with, like all that stuff takes place on Facebook. And like I wouldn't know what the hell was going on with some of my music equipment and the people that are sharing.
But it's not like you couldn't do that with something else. It's just
yeah,
that
but
your
I'd
group
have
of
to
friends
get a
choose
group
to use that.
Like okay, first of all, getting a band together just for practice is a huge pain in the ass. Now imagine getting a group of people that are in bands that you're not even in bands with together to use an app online. Like that's gonna be hurting cats. No fucking way I'm doing that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'll
like
stick to
Blake could switch, but Blake would have to talk everyone else into switching too. And
yeah, that's pulling teeth, man.
Yeah,
that's really pulling teeth.
I'm sure in 10 years you guys will all be using Facebook still.
I don't know. Every industry's fucked up. Every industry's corrupt.
I'm sure
Twitter's
everyone's
fucked
gonna
up.
be using Facebook.
Every social media is fucking cruel. I don't fucking know. Like you eat Chick-fil-A, Asif.
I do not eat Chick-fil-A. How dare you? I have not been to Chick-fil-A in months. Ever since we went to QuakeCon, actually.
There was the one Chick-fil-A.
So that's almost exactly a year since I've had Chick-fil-A because I knew it made one of my friends uncomfortable.
You guys could have gone to Texas this year.
But
and
yes,
a Whataburger.
you can tell me that I eat Chick-fil-A, and that means you can use Facebook.
I'm just saying, it's
Go ahead and tell me how Facebook is good because I eat Chick-fil-A.
Hey, Facebook's
that is
not
the biggest
good.
conflation of nonsense I've ever heard.
I'm just,
that is like some Tim Sweeney shit right there.
Now I'm suddenly hungry for Chick-fil-A.
I don't want Chick-fil-A. Raising Cane's is right next to there, and they're not.
That's true. I will have Raising Cane's.
Raising Cane's is what I fuck with, and it's right there.
Every business is going to be Raising Cane's anyway.
So. If we had a Popeyes in a reasonable distance, I would go there.
Yeah.
I'm a Popeyes like around the corner.
How does Canton, Ohio not have a Popeyes in the pandemic, David?
I don't know.
How did this happen? We have so many bullshit places we can eat. We don't have a Popeyes within 20 minutes.
They came out with that when there was that rush for like the chicken sandwich like a year ago. I was like, oh, where's the nearest Popeyes? What the fuck? Like it was like
East
40
Canton.
minutes away. Oh, yeah. It was just like
I was like, I'm not going there.
No,
they're good sandwiches. Those sandwiches are good.
I've never had.
People are getting their ass beat for them. Like I'm not driving to East Canton like during a pandemic while people are getting their asses kicked for some chicken. I'm like, I got some Tyson patties in the fridge. I'll be fine.
I sat tight for a year, and now I'm getting like a free chicken sandwich from T-Mobile.
No, dude, I got Army of Techno rations over here. I'm not eating that. I don't fuck with Chick-fil-A anymore.
Well, let me ask you something.
Nah, son, nah. But Facebook, go ahead. That's where all the musicians are. That's where all the punk rock kids are. They're on Facebook. Okay, kids.
They were on my face.
Kids, let's rock out on Facebook.
Wait, I'm not trying to fire back. I have a genuine question. One thing that's gotten
rock on. There's an Army of Techno on Facebook because the real Army of Techno didn't create a Facebook, and then they created it, and they're in Germany. So we're like, they messaged us like, you have armyoftekno.com. We're like, you have the Army of Techno Facebook. I'm like, you're Army of Techno, we're Army of Techno, let's be Army of Techno. Who gives a shit? That's what we did. But that's how little of a fuck I give about this platform. But everyone uses it, and they just released a new TikTok competitor, and it's gonna be huge. I don't know, man. I think that company is pure evil.
I do too. Let me ask you this. On Twitter, is there a way to do, like on Facebook, you can create an event and have people join it? Is there something like that on Twitter?
No.
So that's a problem, because I have a bunch of people who are pre-ordering the Dumpster Club and who are going to participate in the chart rush. I organized that on Facebook.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm sorry that the evil corporation has trapped you in its web, but it has. Like, there's a lot of people who are stuck there. It's not like small businesses like Shacknews. Like, our whole philosophy on how we post to Facebook has completely changed, because we figured out they don't incentivize hyperlinks. They don't want you to leave their website. They want images. They want you to create content for them for free so they can monetize it.
That sounds like a Facebook-ass Facebook thing to do, for sure.
That's Facebook.
Yeah, that's Facebook.
Yeah.
So fuck that platform.
No, I'm not defending them. I'm just saying.
I will be so annoying about this for eternity. It's funny because at the same time, I'm creating fucking content for that platform. Because I'm like, oh, I can game this algorithm now that I realize that all it cares about is video and photos. We just you have to quit being a website. You're like, okay, I won't be Shacknews on Facebook. We're just Shacknews for Facebook.
Yeah, for a while, Facebook.
You have to be for Facebook there. It's a weird thing, man.
It is.
And I get it. It is the platform, but I can't look at this as a contrarian and be like, oh yeah, that's going to be around forever. That's the place to be. That's the place to support. And it's like, there's Telegram. Telegram exists. It's a free app. It's a free chat app. Now it doesn't do what you're talking about, David, of planning events. Google Calendar does. I can name something that does everything that Facebook does. Facebook does nothing that's proprietary. The only thing proprietary about it is that people use it. So it's just like self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm going to be the crazy person begging people to stop using it for eternity. But stop using Facebook.
All this did for me is this made me really want chicken. I really want chicken all of a sudden.
Just looking at Ozzy's looking at Blake's background.
Ozzy.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Look at all those dipping sauces.
Hey,
I'm just kind of going Jack in the Crack for right now. So.
You don't have Popeyes?
I have Popeyes, but see, ever since T-Mobile offered that deal where we get the free chicken sandwich and the free chicken, all the pickup and the delivery for every Popeyes is down. It's hit traffic capacity. So
I need to check my T-Mobile. I didn't know I got a free chicken sandwich. What the hell?
Yeah, go to your T-Mobile Tuesdays.
What's that? I just got.
Oh my God! Download T-Mobile. Download T-Mobile Tuesdays, and every Tuesday you get rewards.
Ozzy's literally getting our listeners chicken sandwiches right now.
He's getting me chicken sandwiches. Shit.
Yeah, you log in
to society.
You log in every Tuesday, they'll give you a reward. I think next week.
And it's an app?
Yeah, next week it's a $2 card for Baskin Robbins.
Ooh, get some gold medal ribbon. That's my favorite ice cream ever.
Yeah.
All right.
So we should talk about the next thing that sucks. Do you want to talk about the stuff that sucks here?
Oh, yeah.
More stuff that sucks.
Speaking of stuff that sucks,
wait,
Facebook,
should we take a break? Should we brace people for more?
Should we be like, coming up, stuff that sucks?
Yeah.
Classic.
Don't turn that dial. We got something that sucks more than Facebook coming up. Folks.
I feel so bad that Greg's not here right now.
Okay, that's how we'll go to break.
Hey guys, you know what's better than video games and beer?
Cat videos? B. Arthur?
Incorrect! Nothing! The answer is absolutely nothing!
All right. You know, actually, I do think you're right.
Agreed. We're here at the Dogcast. We podcast about video games and beer.
And beer and video games!
Available weekly on the Greenlit Podcast Network.
B. Arthur.
Yes.
How does Bloodborne stack up against, say, Oregon Trail? And is Bomberman just Lode Runner from a different point of view? Find out on Hardcore Gaming 101's Top Games, where we objectively, definitively, and scientifically rank the games you nominate for our ever-growing list. HG 101's Top Games, Twice a week, every week, right here on Greenlit.
And then we'll come back from break. Yeah. Wow, those were 2 commercials for podcasts in the Greenlit Podcast Network, weren't they, guys?
Those were
Sure
delicious.
were.
Almost as delicious as free chicken sandwiches.
So you guess what? Right before the break, I had mentioned that we were going to talk about something that may suck more than Facebook, and this is hard to
What
do.
possibly sucks more than Facebook?
QuakeCon at home.
Yeah, dude. Man.
Can we talk about this? I know we said we wouldn't talk about the game that shall not be mentioned anymore on this podcast, but we could talk about QuakeCon, right? Because we would have recorded this at QuakeCon this week.
Yeah.
That was before the Death Stranding.
Before the Death Stranding. You have a story about that. We apparently still have hotel rooms at QuakeCon.
Oh my god!
If we want to use them,
man, I'm an idiot. And this was the year that I was super planned out, and we had hotel rooms at GDC and E3, and we were gonna be at South by Southwest. And
I don't want to talk about it.
And apparently, QuakeCon. Well, I forgot to cancel the QuakeCon hotel, so this morning I was like, "What the? Oh!" And they got me. Marriott got me. The Gaylord Texan got me.
Man,
I got. I forgot. Luckily, it was the Gaylord Texan. It wasn't the Four Seasons.
Yeah.
Right? Because that would have been super bad.
Yeah. So QuakeCon at home.
It's horrible.
It's horrible. You know what? The thing is, I get that Bethesda didn't want to just wipe it off the map completely. But first of all, anything remote is antithetical to the spirit of QuakeCon, right?
The BYOC at home.
Yeah, there are people who attend QuakeCon every year and plan their vacation time around it. It is Christmas for them, you know? And so first of all, that's just a problem. It's not going to be the same. Doing what we're doing now is not going to be the same. But then the thing that really pissed me off, there's other aspects of this you can talk about, is that they're like, well, what is it like? How do you unlock the Quake that game's champions again? How do you do this? It's something really easy.
Oh
right?
yeah, if you download Quake Champions and you've already downloaded it, and you play one match, this QuakeCon, these 3 days, if you play one match, you unlock all the champions.
I paid $40 for those champions.
Sucker.
Is that the same kind of buyer's remorse that the Rocket Arena players are having right about now?
I think it's more like Lawbreakers purchases. Honestly,
that's so much worse.
Well, it's like I had to, because I was writing. At the time I was writing the long read Rocket Jump.
Oh, I know. We were playing it. It was still a game that you could find a match in maybe 6 minutes.
Maybe 6 minutes, but
now it's 19 minutes.
I bought those characters when this game was in early access.
Yeah,
it's still in early access. And now it's like the lowest fucking common denominator way to get all these champions that I paid money.
I just want to point out something about QuakeCon.
Yeah.
QuakeCon at home has a bunch of panels, right? A bunch of digital panels about different games, right? They announced Doom Eternal's coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X today with Elder Scrolls Online, right? Okay, that's some QuakeCon-y kind of news. But there is not a word from Adam Pyle, Sync Error, the lead dev on Quake Champions. There is not a word on Quake Champions at the entire event named QuakeCon.
Yeah.
There's not a panel. There's nothing. There is a Quake Pro League final. Because remember, they rebooted their esport while in early access last year. And this is the end of that season that started at last QuakeCon. Right, so it's going to be Rafa and Evil and probably Dahang and I don't know, the usual suspects, right?
Mm-hmm. There might be listeners who think we're harping on this, but
we are.
If anybody's going to harp on it, it's going to be us who used to be a Quake fan site.
Yeah, it should be Shacknews that's sitting here and calling out QuakeCon on not being QuakeCon.
Yeah.
Because I think Scancore did the math. If you ran the amount of time dedicated to different stuff during QuakeCon at home by Bethesda, it's 4% Quake.
Yeah.
Does that mean 90% con or 96% con?
No, it's like 96% Bethesda.
Yeah.
It's a lot of Bethesda stuff. Sure, there's some Doom Eternal stuff there. There's some id Software stuff.
So
there's some Wolfenstein stuff, but it's not.
I don't even
Quake
really
con.
associate Wolfenstein with it anymore.
I don't either. It's a Machine Games IP.
Yeah.
I associate it with Bethesda, honestly. I'm starting to associate all these IPs with Bethesda because this is Bethesda Con.
It is.
It's Bethesda Con at home. And it's just like they are cashing in on member berries maybe more than anyone has ever done with this Quake franchise right now. There is zero goodwill left in the Quake franchise. They have like wrung it out. Yeah. It's like a dry husk of itself. It's like whatever drop they had left of it is just
because an actual new Quake would probably kick fucking ass. Like if they
go back to the drawing board.
They'd have to literally just reboot it. But if they made a Quake with like a proper campaign and it was like Doom Eternal or Doom quality, it could be okay. You want a multiplayer game. It needs to be a good multiplayer game. Quake does need to be an esport. It needs to be a good 1v1 game. There's so many things about Quake that need to be right that they got wrong.
Yeah.
And they ruined. Like Quake Live was fine. That's what we determined.
Again, you know what? Like I've got 2 words for you. Tim Willits.
Who's over at Saber.
I'm serious though. His only original concept was Rage. And
Like, we saw how that went.
He inherited Quake Live, which was Quake 3. And then Quake Champions was like Quake Live meets Overwatch. Like with him gone, the only chance Quake has is, I don't know, like the thing is, my concern is still that a Quake with a campaign and deathmatch sounds good on paper, but it and Doom would kind of cannibalize each other unless they stick to that normal id release cycle where it's like, we get a Quake game in 3 years and then like another Doom 3 or 4 years after that when people have had their fill of Quake. But like, what could Quake really do that would separate it from Doom 2016 and Eternal? Like, Doom.
I think it's bigger than that. How do you separate yourself from the other sea of shooters?
How do
you separate yourself in a world of Apex and all these free-to-play games?
Yeah.
Especially when so many of them are doing Quake better than Quake.
Yeah.
You got to bring in new blood. I mean, I think that's what it boils down to. You got to get fresh minds on this.
Yeah.
You can't rely on the old guard because so much has changed.
There's no one left. Was it Kevin Cloud?
Kevin Cloud is it. But
like,
to Blake's
it's
point,
starting to look like Apple up in there. I don't know if you saw Phil Schiller just became an Apple fellow this week.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go back to the team that made the iPod, the only person that left that's left there is Tim Cook and Eddie Q. And Eddie Q was the guy that was emailing Jeff Bezos offering him 15% cut on the App Store when it's too low for everyone else on Earth. So yeah, I'm just saying, like, id Software kind of resembles that, where they had lightning in a bottle, they had an amazing team.
So
and now what's left?
Well,
like
I think Blake is on the right track.
He's right though. It is new blood. There needs to be someone in there who actually gives a shit about the games, gives a shit about the history.
So here's the thing.
Make a good game.
Let me end what I said. Don't put Hugo Martin on it. Hugo Martin is new blood and he's great, but keep him on Doom. Bring in someone completely new to work on Quake. You know who should work on Quake? They should hire the guy who made that indie game from last year, the year before, the one that looked like Quake 1.
Ion Fury?
What's that?
Ion Fury?
Wrath of Aeon?
No, shit. It looked just like Quake. Oh man, hold on.
Man.
Let me Google this.
But I get what you're saying, David. You need new blood on these types of games.
Like,
there's
like you totally
Dusk.
Okay.
Dusk. Yeah. Well, that's funny because that was made by New Blood.
That's literally
New Blood Interactive made that.
There you go.
Yeah,
Blake was right. So, like that guy who made Dusk, New Blood understands Quake better than id Software understands Quake.
That's fact. That's definitely a fact.
And by now, there's like plenty of seasoned developers that grew up on Quake that are probably chomping at the bit to bring it back.
Like that's why you go to these companies, right? Like you go to Valve because you want to make Half-Life. You go to Blizzard because you want to make Diablo or Warcraft. You go to id because you're like, man, give me Quake. Like hire someone.
You're not going to id anymore. You're going to Bethesda.
You are
going to ZeniMax.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, that's not necessarily how they see it, though.
Well,
right?
no, it's not.
I love seeing New Blood handle these old franchises, like what we've seen Machine Games do with Wolfenstein. And
I think it would be amazing if Bethesda were to trust New Blood with like a Quake IP. What would happen?
They trusted them with Doom, right? Like Marty was just a producer. You know, Hugo drove.
I mean, literally.
And it's possible to bring these old IPs back, like these old IPs that people would think would never, ever in a million years come back. Look what we've seen with Shadow Warrior, for God's sake.
Exactly. I was just about to say it. Like, if we can get a Shadow Warrior 3
and Rise of the Triad, like fucking Rise of the Triad.
Yeah. Dude, New Blood brought that back. Yeah, they did. That was
Rise of the Triad's back?
Rise of the Triad was back before Shadow Warrior.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good. Like, I liked Rise of the Triad.
Does it have decent multiplayer?
Yeah. Drunk missiles and everything.
When they announced, I still remember being in the GameFly offices when they announced Shadow Warrior was coming back. And, like, people in the office were like, why? Everyone was just like, why are they bringing that back? And you know what? It ended up being really good. Nobody believed me when I said, I saw Shadow Warrior and it looks good. And they're like, bullshit. There's no way it's going to be good. No, like I ended up being right on that one.
Scott Miller messaged me on a social platform I won't name. This was several years ago. Well, about Shadow Warrior. He was like, David, check this out. I was like, Scott, why is Shadow Warrior so good? He's like, I know, right? And it was like, they put New Blood on it, right? They put people who loved the Shadow Warrior from the day and let him.
And I was telling everyone on the staff, I'm like, they put the guys behind Hard Reset on this, and I reviewed Hard Reset. That game is good. I loved Hard Reset when I reviewed it.
Yeah.
And I was like, these guys are the real deal. Like, they know what they're doing. And sure enough, they made a good Shadow Warrior game. So good. All an old IP just needs is a fresh injection of new blood, or a literal developer named
maybe actually New Blood Interactive.
Maybe,
yeah.
I think
figurative New Blood or literal New Blood Interactive.
Yeah,
one of
you
those.
Can even start a company, figurative New Blood.
Yeah, you can bring almost anything back from the dead.
Yeah,
you really can.
Except Lawbreakers. That'll never come back.
And Duke Nukem.
Hold on.
And Anthem. I think why Hugo. I mean, the whole team did a great job on Doom, but I think one reason that Hugo was the right person to lead that was because he was someone who like understood the old sensibilities, but was also like, hey, we need some new stuff in there too. Like, and I think Doom 2016 did a better job of that than Eternal. But
I think they went too far the other way with Eternal.
They really did.
It's like the jumping puzzles and the platforming, and it's like, there's some like, okay, this is an idea, but it doesn't feel like Doom.
Yeah, yeah.
But let's talk about some really egregious shit that they're doing at QuakeCon.
Yes, let's do that.
So they're kickstarting Quake 2 on Bethesda launcher. If they raise $10,000, they'll give everyone Quake 2 for free on Bethesda launcher. Why the fuck are you
cheap bastards?
Why the fuck are you kickstarting a fucking game from 1997 that I already own on Steam?
That's cheaper on Steam. It's
cheaper on Steam.
Yeah.
Why?
And play it on one of the worst.
That's some Bethesda ass shit right there. Let's be honest.
That is.
Like, that is not QuakeCon.
Nope.
And then, that really pathetic play our game just once and we'll give you all of our champions.
That's
like,
so bad.
How hat in hand is Quake right now? It's pathetic. I'm going to watch that final. The Quake League final.
When is that?
It's Sunday.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch it.
I want to watch it too.
Because I like Rafa and I like to hang.
We should write a post on it just for the hell of it.
Yeah, we should cover that because it's a thing that's still happening. And
honestly,
Pro Quake is still awesome.
I still like watching Pro Quake, but it's so hard to find.
Yeah, it's not.
It's always been hard to find for the last 4 years or so. 3 or 4 years.
It's been bad. I would say that before Quake Champions ruined it, they had a really cool thing going at QuakeCon where it was like there was a Quake Live tournament, there was a Quake World tournament. It was fun.
I think we were doing just as much to keep that alive too.
Yeah, like we were doing we're doing our thing. We're obviously doing something this year. We're not doing it at QuakeCon because I saw how whack their lineup was, and I was like, we're not going to be part of this.
Although we do have hotel rooms, so we could.
Do. Let's go down to the Texas station and get Blake a deconstructed
Oh,
sandwich.
Oh no, that's still one of the funniest things.
First place gets a free hotel room.
Blake was super pissed. Oh man, that was so. I'm sorry.
QuakeCon at home
That was so
sucks
funny.
more than Blake's deconstructed sandwich.
that was I don't usually react like that in restaurants, but that was
some Bethesda bullshit.
That-
some Bethesda
like-
sandwich bullshit right there.
It wasn't
That was-
Bethesda's
yeah.
fault. I'm
You got a
not,
Bethesda sandwich?
I'm not going to call out Bethesda on that, but kickstarting a Bethesda launcher for Quake 2 is like, that is the weakest sauce I
That's
have
bad.
ever seen.
That might be the funniest thing I've heard all day. Holy crap.
I was like, really? You got to kickstart this, folks? You couldn't just give it to us because we already bought it in 1997? Or again on Steam sale for $2.
It doesn't have.
It's
Quake
been
2.
on sale, Ozzy. You know this. Quake 2's been on sale so many times.
So many times. You can get the entire Quake collection on GOG.com for like $10.
Yeah, like
who doesn't own those games
let's
already?
kickstart it on this launcher that you never use.
You can get it on GOG.com DRM free. Probably pay less money.
Yeah, that to me was when I was like, nope. And for that reason, I got on Mark Cuban. I'm like, I'm gonna stop you right there, Bethesda.
Yeah.
I was like, look, this Quake 2 shit is like, it's my favorite Quake. It's like an insult.
Mine
It's like
too.
an insult to me that they're doing this.
You know
I was
what?
like, for that
Awesome.
reason, I'm out. I'm not going to participate in your QuakeCon at home.
Let me run a hypothetical by you. Quake Champions actually started as an add-on for Quake Live, you'll remember.
Yeah.
I propose this. If that had come to fruition, that game would still be, it would be more popular.
It would have more players. I guarantee it. You
Yeah.
fragmented the Quake player base,
Yep.
and then you pissed off half of them.
Yep.
Because you pissed off both sides because no one could play games on Quake Live anymore because half of the community went over to Quake Champions, and then the people who went to Quake Champions were pissed because they couldn't find anyone to play with, and it was terrible. The game was just fundamentally bad.
Yeah.
So you had like half the community left over there at Quake Live. And Quake, there was nothing wrong with Quake Live.
No.
Perfectly good game. No, I'm not saying that there was never anything wrong with Quake Live. The whole subscription service and browser and all that wonky stuff was bad.
They had moved on from that, though. Like, that game was solid.
Quake Live in the state it was in when they decided to announce Quake Champions
Was fine. Yep.
Yeah.
And you're so right. They ruined the community by releasing Quake Champions, and that's sad.
It's a bummer.
Let's talk about something better. Let's talk about Bugsnax.
We're nowhere to go.
Whoa.
So Bugsnax is an FPS game.
Bugsnax.
It's not a shooter, but it's a first-person snack game.
Oh, kind of like Metroid Prime is a first-person adventure game, according to Miyamoto.
Yeah, so we got a first-person snack game. We learned that the character that you play in Bugsnax is a journalist.
Uh-huh.
That you're sent there to debunk the story, I think? That the story of this explorer might be BS. They're injecting some sort of uncertainty in this. We got to meet a couple of characters. There's this guy who builds traps for you. We learned that you can trap Bugsnax for other Grumpuses.
That's right.
I have to assume that you yourself are a Grumpus.
Yeah, you play a Grumpus.
You're a
Grumpus. You can
Grumpus.
see the hands. You can see your Grumpus hands in a couple of.
Oh, so I bet your
shots.
hands change depending on what you eat.
That might happen. I don't know if you even get to eat Bugsnax or if you're just feeding people Bugsnax.
Is there a J. Jonah Grumpus? Does he demand?
There is.
Does he demand pictures of?
C. Clumby Clumbernut is the J. Jonah.
He demands pictures of Bugsnax.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He literally does. His name is C. Clumby Clumbernut.
He doesn't trust the like Jane Goodall Grumpus. thinks
I can't believe they
they're
keep
full of
finding new
crap.
ways to sell me on this game.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Oh man, we dissected the new trailer today. Really, like we got meticulous.
I have to look at every second of gameplay that I'm given of this game before it comes out.
And then I also I got the press release for it, and the press release had a plethora of information.
I just think that this might be the most important game to come out this year outside of like Half-Life Alyx or Animal Crossing. Like this is going to be, it's going to be on that. Like when you think of 2020, Bugsnax will be there. Like It's gonna be part of it.
With it. Like as far as the new IP goes, like I don't think, like I was really excited for Ghost of Tsushima, but Bugsnax just came out of nowhere.
I really liked
such...
Octodad. Like I thought Octodad was brilliant, and it wasn't because of the story or anything. I'm not. The gameplay in Octodad was amazing. So I'm like, these folks got to like spend time refining an IP, and this is what we get. I'm like, oh my god, like this could be amazing.
Yeah, that's
and every time they show me something, I get more excited. Oh yeah, there was a state of play. They announced a bunch of other crap too. But yeah, Bugsnax.
It's got a universal appeal factor. There's like colorful Muppet-looking characters. There's quirky little like food creatures running around. You know, it's just got something where like it's the kind of game where you can play with your family if you wanted to. Like there I don't think that there's gonna be like a rated T for teen on this or anything like that.
I don't know. It might not be so friendly. Because
was Donovan in there saying it was a horror game?
I think it might be a horror game. I think it might be a horror game or a survival game. But there's also like this Pokemon Snap element. If you're like Peter Parker and you got like your camera and you gotta like take pictures of bugs, if that's part of it, I'm in.
You use different sauces and different traps to either lure the animals or trap them.
Just don't get bitten by a radioactive Bugsnax.
What I'm saying is that the fascination, I think the fascination people had with Death Stranding before it launched, there's a similar fascination occurring with Bugsnax in the game media.
There's definitely something that we're not seeing. I agree with that.
We were pitching for Shack Chat earlier in the week about what is the story to Bugsnax. I think we have to go with that next week.
We have to talk about Bugsnax.
Yeah, what do you think the story is?
Why did we have to save that for Shack Chat? I think that's a feature right there, honestly. But we don't need to talk about our editorial plans throughout this. I don't know. I think
decided to.
I know. That's why I cut myself off.
There's so much we can talk about when it comes to Bugsnax. I'm just fascinated.
You know another game with bugs? Like Grounded?
Bugs. We already talked about Animal Crossing, so.
Oh my god, Grounded. Those fucking goddamn spiders.
Grounded released into early access and game preview, I think is what it's called.
Hey, that's another horror game that the family can play together.
It is. And I would say shout outs to Jabby, Adam Brennicky, and the whole team over at Obsidian that are working on Grounded. They've been downloaded over 1 million times, played over 1 million times, probably thanks to Game Pass, I would imagine.
I'm very proud of them because I remember when they first showed that to me back in November. My first thought was like, this is so completely 100% different from anything Obsidian's done to this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they've built up enough goodwill that I think it might succeed, and it looks like it's going to. So good on them.
So it's exciting and it's really fun. Like I normally don't like survival games like that, but I like the base building in it. I like the co-op gameplay of it. I like that it's on Game Pass and I didn't have to buy it.
Like the biggest comparison I can think of is it looks like Rust, and I mean that in the best way. Like it's everything about Rust except like you crossed it with Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yes,
which looks really cool.
Yeah. I mean I love the scale. Like you're in a backyard, but like you see how small you are relative to a spider or something in the game. I love that there's a setting at the very beginning of the game that allows you to remove spiders from the game. So if you're afraid of spiders, you can still play the game. And
it's refreshing that you have a game like this that doesn't have zombies.
Yeah. And like spiders are fucking scary as hell in this game.
They are.
I left it on.
The wolf spider, they get these like red eyes and they like peek at you through the grass. Oh, it is.
Oh man.
It's scary, but it's fun. And like there's no real, you get punished when you die, but it's not like you don't lose anything. Like you can always get it back, which I think.
Yeah, and you can have multiple. Like you die and you leave a backpack behind, but you leave multiple backpacks behind.
Yeah, you don't just leave one backpack. You can leave multiple
get them all.
packs.
You can go and pick them up.
So you don't ever really lose anything if you go back and get it.
It's like a more user-friendly take on the Souls mechanic. Multiple blood streams instead of just one. Yeah.
Yep. Which is interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But you can still progress. Like your base doesn't get demolished if you die or anything. Like
That's
there's
cool.
like I don't know. It's really
I
good.
wanna-
It's early, but there were robots. I'm in.
I freaked out when I saw the robot and I attacked it and killed it.
You did kill the robot.
It had it coming. The awesome thing was like the final blow was I threw an axe at its head and it stuck in its head and
Mhm.
started wigging out. Like that was pretty cool. I mean, that whole game has massive appeal to me, and I do not like survival games, but I really enjoyed my time with Grounded so far, and I want to dive back in. I'll probably spend some time on my own personal downtime trying to play with some folks, or we should definitely. Well, I want to get that back on the live stream as well. It's just so much fun.
Yeah,
It's such a
good candidate for the Shack staff to play together some Saturday or something.
It's only 4
such
people,
yeah.
but it's cool. You can like tag in and out, I guess.
It's such a unique take on the survival genre. You know, it's not just another Don't Starve clone or something like that. It's not trying to rip off Minecraft, you know?
It's very detail
doing
oriented.
its own thing.
Like
yeah.
there's like dirty water and clean water, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like dirty water has one effect on you and clean water has another effect on you. You have to like learn that as you're going on. Like
that's cool.
The game, there is a tutorial kind of aspect, but it doesn't hold your hand very much. It's like
it just gives you objectives, and you can go do the objectives, or you can search and like find your own way.
But yeah, I've been I like it quite a bit. I'm just excited. It's when a game is in early access like that, I try not to play it too much because I want to see what the final product is. But this one at launch, I was like, I want to try this because I had read Ozzy's previews and we've been talking to Jabby about that for a while. But yeah, congrats.
I was really glad we could get Jabby on with us too.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah.
On launch day, yeah, he was enjoying himself just watching Blake play. He was cracking up.
I was freaking out about the spiders.
Yeah, he was just laughing. He's just like, this is my favorite thing to do is watch other people play it because he's like, what are they gonna do? And it's like GTA in that sense, right? Yes. Where it's like you never know what one. I love that about. There's certain games like that where it's almost like a Rorschach test or some sort of like you can like see people's personality come out and how they play a game. It's one of those games, which is kind of
I wish I had more time to jump in.
Yeah, I do too. I've been playing a game I can talk about. It's past the review embargo. I figure I should talk about it since this is a QuakeCon episode. It's called Hellbound.
Yeah, I wanted to hear from you about this.
Okay, so it's cool. It's like a small group of Quake fans or like 90s FPS fans from Argentina. They did a Kickstarter. They raised like $40,000 and were able to make this game. So it's single player, right? It has a survival mode that has an online leaderboard. So that's kind of different. But the single player is like, it's like you're playing Doom. You know, like there's 6, I don't know. How many episodes did the original Doom have?
3.
3? But then they had expansions.
They had one expansion. You think Wolfenstein 3D shipped with 6 episodes?
That's what it is. It has the overlay. That's what I mean. This is like a hodgepodge of every 90s shooter. So it had like that map, very inspired by Wolfenstein 3D.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the X's over it, like in Doom or whatever.
You sent me a screenshot. I didn't notice this at first, but there's a Triforce on the wall.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was in this. So there's a lot of tropes in these games where you have to get the green key and the red key and the yellow key, right? Yeah. So I was looking for a key, and as I was looking for the key, I stopped and I looked at that wall, and I was like, "That's a Triforce." Like, there's like all these little nods to other games in it. Basically, the main character is like, and this is gonna be in my review. It's like if you put Ranger from Quake, Doom Guy, and Duke Nukem, and like put them in a blender. And like just like 3D printed whatever that was, like use that to 3D print like a new character.
Fold them up into origami.
That's Helgor. Helgor's like, he says like the cheesiest stuff. He's like, dead demons make great compost. It's just like the corniest Like
Those
total
one-liners,
Duke Nukem stuff, where he says at the beginning of the episode, or like, you know, like very Duke. He says it every time you respawn. It's like a constant nod to that genre. It's decent. Doesn't have a lot of enemies. Like probably like 5 enemy types, 5 guns, 6 different like worlds or levels. I will say that the level design is excellent. There's some platforming that resembles the platforming in like a Quake game. Not, you know what I mean, David? Like those old school FPSs.
Yeah.
The one big negative I have about the game, outside of that, there's no multiplayer at all, which would probably be hard for a small team to implement netcode and all that. So I understand why they chose that. Yeah. But, you know, if you're going to make a game in the vein of all these great deathmatch games, and you don't shoot with a deathmatch, it's not so great. But given that, like, outside of that, it was the checkpoint system. So there were like multiple times where I was like, early on, I relied on the checkpoint system, right? I was like, okay, if I died, it's going to spawn me somewhere near where I died.
Yeah. I
like got past getting a key, right? Like I got the key, I opened the door with the key, and then I died. And it didn't save.
Is there a quick save option, or is it?
There is a save option.
But that's a bad checkpoint system, though. It should.
That's what I mean. Like, if I get a key, that should be a checkpoint. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So I had to become super reliant on the save, which reminded me once again of 90s shooters, right?
F5, like every 2 steps.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things where I'm like, you're too true to the genre that you kind of hinder yourself in 2020.
Yeah.
Because the graphics are 2020 quality. It runs really well. It ran on my ultra wide. The music is kind of repetitive. And like I said, it's an indie studio, so they probably didn't have a lot of budget for music, a lot of budget for voice acting, but they did put in some there. Mm-hmm. What I like about it, where I think Doom Eternal and Doom 2016 even would have benefited from this, their answer to not really having many different enemy types is throwing a shit ton of enemies at you. So there's the quad damage equivalent in the game, and they like put you in this room with just a bunch of monsters, and they're like, kill everyone, have a good time. And it's like, it's pretty fun.
That's very evocative of Duke 3D and Doom 1.
Yes.
Like Doom 1 suffered from some repetitive enemy encounters as well, but you didn't really think about that at the time. It wasn't until Doom 2 when they added enemies like the Mancubus and the Revenant that you were like, oh yeah, this is really clicking now. But like, yeah, like Doom 1 was just like, you just tripped a secret door of like 30 sergeants and some imps. Oh no, like you're not even thinking about the fact that there's just a bunch of clones in there. You've got a lot of shit coming at you, you know? Yeah.
One thing I really have been digging so far is the visuals.
The art style's outstanding.
Yeah. I really like the color palette that they chose too.
And the weapons look cool. Like, I'll say that the weapons themselves also look cool, speaking to the art style. Like, they did little things like, it's not a double-barrel shotgun, it's a triple-barrel shotgun. Like, they just kind of went over the top with some stuff.
Oh, Blood had one of those, I think.
Yes. Oh, dude, they mentioned Blood in their Kickstarter. It's definitely inspired. This game reminds me of Blood more than the other games that are mentioned in their Kickstarter. Like, the voice acting and Helgor kind of reminds me of Duke and Doom Guy, and his face is down there at the bottom, so it looks like, you know, Ranger or whoever. Insert id Software character here. But like, yeah, there's a lot of blood in this game. It reminds me of Blood, and like the visceral nature of that game. It's like there's flaws in this, but I like it. It's not totally bad.
They're selling them on the Steam page, and they're like looking for a deep story. You came to the wrong place, and I'm like, yeah.
I was like, this. As I've been playing this game, I'm like, this game is for David. Like, I'm like, David doesn't care about online multiplayer, like at all.
Nope.
And you love FPS games that were made in the 90s.
Yeah.
And you love those challenging, like, I don't know. I don't know. What out of those 3, like, let's just pick 3. Out of Doom 1, Duke 3D, or like, I don't know, Quake. What's your favorite campaign?
Doom.
Doom?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to love this.
Yeah.
Like this is a lot. This is not a lot like.
It's
like
only
Duke. I thought was kind of revolutionary with how they did like
the level
environments that changed.
Yeah.
You know, for this time, it did a lot of crazy stuff like that. Last year's game, Ion Fury, did a good job of staying true to that.
And you know what it was? Like Duke's level design, like in the moon base, wasn't as exceptional because it's just like, well, I can't really relate to this. But the cities, like movie theaters, bookstores, streets, that's where you were like, holy shit, this feels real. Yeah, and that's what Ion Fury capitalized on.
Yep.
You know,
Ion Fury definitely did that. Like this game definitely, I would say, stays more true to Doom and Quake. It's inspired by both of those campaigns.
The art style is like a hodgepodge of Doom 2016, Serious Sam, and Blood. Like it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Damn,
but
I'm gonna get this game.
Yeah, it's not for everyone, but it's good, and I think they deserve props for shipping it.
Here's my reaction to the lack of a multiplayer is like, think about Doom 2016. Did anyone really miss the lackluster multiplayer in that game? Like it was all about the campaign, right? So I kind of see the merit in going all in on a really cool action-packed campaign and being like, you know what, if we can't do this other thing good enough, we're just not.
It's not like they ever advertised it like it was going to have that. Like they were very honest. Like this is what we're working on. It's going to be a campaign. It's going to have. They released this survival mode beforehand, so survival mode had been like kind of an early access kind of game, and that's just like it's like Horde. It's like a wave-based shooter, but in that world.
Oh, I like that. So here's the other thing about the 90s influence. I don't know about you, Asif or Blake. I know you played shooters on PC in the 90s. Ozzy, I'm not sure if you did. Even though I played games during that generation, I had like a 14 baud modem. I really couldn't play a lot of deathmatch and until like the one time of year my friends and I dragged our computers together for a LAN party. So like for me, yeah, like deathmatch existed, but 364 days out of the year, I was playing the single-player campaigns. Like, I think that's what drew people to those games in the first place. So, like, in that light, this is something little kid me would have been all in on.
Oh, yeah.
Because I wasn't going to play it on my 14.4 modem anyway. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I'm definitely not of that audience. I was always a console kid. I was the one always trying to get together with a bunch of friends to play GoldenEye.
Same problem there, right? Like, unless you can round people up, you're playing the campaign. So,
basically. Yeah, and I feel like I don't understand why the modern Dooms feel the need to tack on multiplayer other than for whatever reason they feel the need to try and justify a $60 price point. So they think that they're arbitrarily adding value. And the multiplayer for both of these past Doom games have not been really good.
Well, that's the funny thing is sometimes they arbitrarily deduct value. And this is a Bethesda-ass move too.
Yeah.
Also, if I did that interview with Pete Hines, I'm like, so I get that Doom Eternal's multiplayer mode is this unique 2-on-1 thing. But, since Doom 2016 got knocked for not shipping with Deathmatch, why not just throw that in there? He's like, oh, that's old. Nobody wants that. I'm like, I mean, actually, like...
Everybody wants that.
It is Doom. It literally invented this thing. How hard can it be to whip up like 4 deathmatch maps? But okay, Pete. Okay, whatever.
Yeah,
Pete. Okay.
Yeah,
but no, Asif, I'm sold on this. I can't wait to read your review.
Yeah, it should go up tomorrow, hopefully.
I don't know when this will go up, but on Steam they're running a promotion someday. Hellbound is only like $12 right now until August 11th.
Okay.
I'm all over this.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I sold a copy. During QuakeCon. I did the QuakeCon at home. Look at me.
You did the QuakeCon at home.
Good job.
I did the QuakeCon at home. I did it.
Do I unlock all the levels if I play one level?
But I'm so sad, man. The BYOC is a magical place, and it's sad that it's not around right now. It's like I get special energy when I walk that place.
Same.
It's like it's just I've discovered so many games and met so many people there. Like it's like such a cool thing. Like
and like what's Waifu for Lifeu doing this year? We don't know.
I miss my Waifu for Lifeu friends and my A2M friends. Like who knows what they're gonna do? And there's no Master Pancake Theater this year. Like all these like traditions are not happening. You know what else isn't happening? And it really sucks for the city of Canton. The Pro Football Hall of Fame game was supposed to happen tonight.
Oh, that's a bummer.
This is Thursday, August 6th.
Yeah.
It was supposed to happen. It's like 20% of our GDP in Canton.
Yep.
It's like this weekend. And it's not happening. So there's like, I don't know if they're doing an enshrinement or what, but like, I'm sure it'll be all at home, all right, or digital.
I was gonna say, at least we're starting new traditions, new exciting traditions like stimulus games and that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been the year of pivoting, but like it's I don't like what I saw from this Quake at Home thing. Like it doesn't seem like, and I know that I'm on the QuakeCon Discord, and I know that there's people organizing online tournaments right now, like for this weekend. So there are going to be like Quake Live tournaments happening. Like stuff is happening that's going to be grassroots.
Yeah.
But Bethesda's not showcasing it. It's
Some
all
events,
being done on a. It's all being done on a Discord, you know, and like, it's not the same.
Some events are more suited to pivot than others. Like obviously, QuakeCon's not doing a great job. Evo, even if Evo had gone on, I don't think that would have gone well. Games Done Quick, I feel like, is a little better suited, and we're going to find out in a few weeks. But they've already had their weekend trial run back in April, and I think they'll do a lot better. But
I thought Corona Games Done Quick, given the technical difficulties, still went pretty well.
And I think they needed to have those technical difficulties because now they're better prepared for 2 weeks from now. So
I hope
it just depends on the event, basically, whether they're better suited to go online or not. And did you guys even know that GDC online already happened?
Yeah,
I got an email.
Yeah,
but it's like $100 to watch these panels and stuff.
That's another one.
They offered me some press access last week, I think, and I just was like, I don't want to go.
I love GDC, but that's something
not two GDCs.
Not two.
Don't give me two half-ass GDCs in the same year.
And
no, I didn't ask for this. The first time you canceled the GDC, which should have been the last time you canceled the GDC for 2020. Making two GDCs? Why?
Oh, the fun one's gonna be PAX, where they're gonna go like 24/7 for a full week. It's like, no. Who asked for that?
No,
not cool.
Didn't like a 24-hour Twitch channel just launch? Then
something like that.
Did you hear about Then?
No, I don't think I did.
And G4's coming back.
Nice. Oh my God, G4.
I'll believe that.
Jeez,
I'll believe that when I see it.
It's coming. It's dumb enough. 2020 is stupid enough for that to happen.
That's the kind of I don't know. That's like.
That's how you know we're in a stock market bubble. G4's coming back.
Remember how the XFL came back?
For like a week? Yeah. I remember
feel like that's like the G4.
The Rock bought it. It might still come back.
Yeah, it might come back again. And this time with The Rock behind it, the XFL might have a chance.
Let me tell you
with
guys
The Rock,
story time. Ozzy, you might have heard this.
All right.
The Rock and WWE, they don't talk about it now, but they had a falling out after Rock's contract ran out in 2004. Vince and Triple H talked, and they said, you know what? Fuck that guy. Let's wait for him to fall on his face in Hollywood and then come crawling back. We'll sign him for pennies. Now, the XFL nearly went bankrupt. The Rock came in and saved Vince McMahon's bacon.
Yeah.
Fucking poetry, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is it is amazing to see Rock in a position to bail out WWE.
Yeah. Yeah, like, oh, don't worry, Vince.
Like, how much do I love The Rock? That The Rock has become so big, he could bail out Vince McMahon.
Yeah, he's the biggest star in the world right now.
That's a major power play.
That's a big champion.
That's almost a big middle finger to Vince McMahon, too.
He's
and I like that.
Vince. I made this from Godzilla or some shit. I don't even remember.
I made this from that stupid Hercules movie.
Yeah.
From Rampage. From fucking Rampage.
Rampage. That's it. Not Godzilla. Rampage. He was in Rampage.
That movie was fucking horrible.
It was horrible.
You guys watched it?
You know what?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
You saw it in theaters?
It was terrible.
What the hell? You paid money?
I paid money to see Rampage.
I was on a flight. I was on a flight.
That's fine. You're in a confined trapped tube flying through space. Ozzy paid money.
Out, sir.
You're part of the reason. No, Ozzy is part of the reason Rock could afford to buy the XFL.
Yeah, see, that's true. I want to be that in conversation, like Vince in the corner, Rock coming up, like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing? You need to borrow? You need a few bucks? I've got 15 minutes just sitting around. I got you, Vince. Don't you worry, buddy."
Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
Yeah, he's cooking.
He's cooking up
Watch
14
The
million.
Rock. Watch The Rock turn the XFL around.
He was
I
there
would-
the first
I would
game
laugh.
back in the day.
He was.
Like, he
was
kicked it off.
Yeah, he kicked off the original XFL,
This is like full circle.
and
you know?
he was a player.
Was he a player?
I think he was a
He
player.
was played in college.
He played for the Miami Hurricanes.
Miami Hurricanes.
Oh, I thought you meant a player in the XFL.
No. I just mean like he was a football player,
Yeah, he
Yeah.
championship.
and he was in Ballers.
Yep.
That's
This could
right.
be an elaborate Ballers stunt.
Oh shit, we're gonna get.
Like, what if this is a reboot of
XFL.
Ballers?
This is it. This is the Ballers reboot nobody asked for.
I didn't even watch the
Jeez.
last season.
I didn't.
Yeah, Vince had to sell off the XFL, and
Rob
Triple H,
Corddry needs work.
Triple H is pissing away money on ex punters. Which
Dude.
God, that whole thing.
Trying to kickstart Chaperone 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody. Sorry. Let me just throw this one out to David. Somebody posted that clip of Pat McAfee, the guy they got to go feud with Adam Cole in NXT. Someone pointed out that he was part of that shitty fourth down play on Sunday Night Football where Al Michaels was just like, "What the hell was that?"
Yeah.
But Pat McAfee also recovered his own onside kick one time.
I do remember that.
Pretty cool. I don't know. That guy's interesting.
Yeah.
He kind of reminds me of Joe Rogan, but he's like
He's playing up the douchebag role to a T, which is funny because he's feuding with somebody who's arguably a bigger douchebag, which is funny.
But I don't know. He does. It's called the Pat McAfee Show. It's a sports talk radio show. Sometimes I usually watch Dan Patrick on YouTube. I don't know if you ever catch his show.
I used to listen to Dan Patrick on the radio. I didn't know he was on YouTube now.
Yeah, it's Dan Patrick Show on YouTube. He's no longer on television. So his show is only, if you want to watch the video version of his show, it's only broadcast on YouTube now.
That's probably for the best because like I can't think of watching a sports show on TV anymore.
No, but it's great on YouTube. I just
I used to when I was doing like the late shift over at THQ, but that's only because like I couldn't find anything else on TV.
Yeah,
at 4 a.m.
But yeah, no. So like, I'll turn on Pat McAfee from time to time. He's not the worst. He gets some decent guests. I guess he has that same formula as Dan Patrick's show, where it's like him, and then he has his like buddies that are sitting at another table. And
He's going to be in a professional wrestling match, Asif, in about 3 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, him and Adam Cole. It's going to be official.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Who's
Adam
Cole?
Adam Cole is he was the former NXT champion. He's also good friends with Grand Pooh Bear, of all people. So
Okay.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I know Pooh Bear is big into wrestling.
And one of Pooh Bear's biggest friends in wrestling is Adam Cole. They've done Twitch streams together.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But Adam Cole is coming off like a 400-day world title reign, and now he's going to wrestle Pat McAfee for some reason.
That's
vacation. That's paid vacation right there.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. That's like stupid. Okay, I didn't know any of that. Obviously, I don't pay that much attention to the Pat McAfee show. I probably would have heard about that. But yeah, like
apparently this whole thing started because he had Adam Cole on his show, and they had it out for what was supposed to be. It was worked.
Yeah,
but they wanted people to think it was real.
Oh, so it's like a little Andy Kaufman stuff going on here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a callback right there.
But that's like the play, right? Like he went on David Letterman and he started a fight with Jerry the King, and it was like
Jerry the King slapped his head off his neck. Yeah,
and then he threw coffee on him.
Yeah,
it was like a whole thing.
Those were the days before people knew how the sauce was made.
Yeah, no, but even knowing that after the fact that was all like fake, still entertaining as hell.
It really is.
Andy Kaufman was brilliant, and I've been. I'm not watching Letterman as much as I am watching like comedians on Letterman. So there's like a little bit of Letterman that I'm watching. I don't know. I've gotten to the point where I'm tired of watching Netflix. I just watch YouTube now. I might cancel all the things.
Did you guys know that I subbed to Peacock?
Yeah, I heard.
There's a callback.
Ozzy,
Does
what
that
are
shit
you
have Cheers?
doing?
I don't know. I haven't booted up Peacock since I watched the Psych movie.
Wait, the Psych movie's on it?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
the only reason I paid money for it was to watch the Psych
man.
movie.
I bet it
You
doesn't
got
have
hosed.
Cheers.
How much is it?
Hulu has Cheers right now.
I think I paid $30. I think I paid something like $30 for the full year.
A year.
For a year.
For Peacock?
Okay.
For
That's
Peacock.
Do you not have Comcast?
I don't.
So I don't know. Yesterday I went to pay my Comcast bill. Like, we'll send you like our little like TV remote control thing, and we'll give you Peacock for free. And like I looked to make sure there was like no hidden charges or anything, but apparently they're just giving me Peacock and like a cable box. So
I've pissed away so much money on these services. Like,
yeah.
look, at least with DC Universe, I get the comics, so it's not a total loss.
Oh,
and
you
they
get
did
comic
get
books with that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So it's not a total loss, and because I have it, they gave me the discounted rate for HBO Max. So there you go.
That's nice.
HBO Max.
HBO Max is pretty good.
I'm going to have to sub to it because I love South Park.
They have South Park. They have Rick and Morty. Close Enough from the regular show guy is really good.
Yeah, wasn't that supposed to come out on TBS?
It was supposed to come out on TBS, and now they did 12 episodes on HBO Max.
I'm so
but
sad
they're
that this is
good?
happening.
They're good. I really enjoyed it.
Man.
The fragmentation of video content is like the worst part of 2020 internet.
It is. But let me ask you this. Why did shows on TVS start at 5 after the hour and then 5 after the half hour? What was that?
Okay, there is a story behind that, and I think it had something to do with baseball or something like that.
Huh.
But I remember there was an official reasoning for it.
Oh, it was like when the baseball team, when the broadcast would end, and then it kind of spilled into the rest of the evening. I think that was it.
But yeah, I remember that. That's a total back in my day kind of thing. Back in my day, TBS used to start shows at 5 after the hour.
Yeah, like their whole schedule. I was like, Saved by the Bell on's at 7:05. What? Like I was
right.
Really confused me as a kid. Yeah. Okay, now that we're done reminiscing about TBS's program.
Back in my day, we didn't have Tyler Perry.
Man, poor TBS. They had a stretch there like a couple years where they tried to do original programming and it just didn't work because it's fucking TBS. Who the hell's watching TV on TBS?
It's the least consistent channel on your dial.
Yeah.
Like, it is the most obscure channel on most listings. Like, it's never the same.
They took like a bunch of TBS's programming and just threw it on HBO Max. Like Search Party got their new season on HBO Max.
Because AT&T bought Warner, so now they own all that. It's like 3 corporations that are going to own all this stuff in a few years. But
it's like Viacom and
Comcast,
AT&T,
and Verizon,
and Turner,
which is like
AT&T owns Batman.
I'm not advocating monopolies. Monopolies are a terrible thing, but at the same time, if I can just consolidate some of these,
it's not that I want to keep
track of.
Honestly, we don't want a monopoly. We want competition. And what we want is a market for content. Like, I want to be able to go to like a live stream version of iTunes and be like, I like the Cleveland Browns. I like Sports Center. I like this. I want to pay a la carte for these programs. Yeah. Not even channels, just programs. And like, that's where we could have been. And this is where we are.
Yeah, we have so many services now that it defeats the entire purpose of cutting the cord.
It exactly does, because I still have to pay my cable company for the internet, and then on top of that, if you add up what we're paying for all these services plus the cost of internet, it's more than we were paying for cable.
I'm not defending this though, but like, does anyone here pay for quote unquote all the services? I have like 2 at any given time. I mean, I get what you're saying. I agree. The fragmentation is bad, but I'm not one of those people who has like HBO, Hulu, Netflix. I have Prime because it's Amazon, so everybody has Prime.
Okay, so I have Prime because it's Amazon.
Yeah.
I get Netflix for free through T-Mobile. Hulu is $5, so like, fuck it, I'll throw $5.
You have commercials on that.
Yes.
Okay.
Disney Plus, I got the early adopter rate, so I'm covered on that for 3 years. I'm paying something like on average $3 a month.
That's good.
HBO Max, I got discounted through a DC Universe. Peacock, I paid for like an idiot, but I also got an early adopter rate for that. But eventually, all of these early adopter rates are going to end, and that's when my chickens are going to come home.
And
to roost.
Ozzy's in trouble.
In
And that's
3
a-
years,
that's a problem.
2023.
That's a problem for future Ozzy. I don't envy that guy.
There's an event horizon for Ozzy's subscription services. It's like sometime between 2022 and 2023.
Oh man.
All of that's gonna come back, and the worst part is I don't even know what I have. Like I haven't kept track of this stuff.
Oh no!
Eventually, I'm gonna get a bill for something. Like I have this. Where did this come from?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like if the more you subscribe to this stuff, you forget you have some of this.
Like Shacknews Mercury.
Like Shacknews Mercury.
So
Also,
many people forgot.
dude, you used to be the biggest evangelist of YouTube TV, but they're so expensive.
I dropped it.
It's so.
I
bad.
dropped it at 55, and now it's at 65.
Yeah.
When they upped it to 55, I'm like, for that reason, I'm out. I was also like, hey, you know what? We're in the middle of a pandemic. The only reason I had YouTube TV to begin with was I like sports.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I can consume sports via YouTube, like after the fact.
And I got 12 months of Apple TV Plus because I got the iPhone earlier this year.
Still listing his
Yeah.
And now here's the thing: when I got the last second warning to remember to use your 12 months trial, I made sure to set an Alexa reminder on the day before it expires to cancel the trial because I know I'm going to forget.
Okay, here's my guilty admission. I subscribed to Quibi. Like
what?
Wow.
Quibi, that's worse than anything I have.
Wow.
And I
Did you forget?
Did
you forget?
The free 3 months, and I
Yeah.
dropped the sub long before I got charged. But I'm like,
Okay,
I have
good.
to see what this is about. And they actually had some really good horror shows on there. But like, I was like, I don't want to just watch video on my phone, so I'm out. But I had to see what it was about. I had to try it. But I never.
You didn't pay for it.
No, I didn't pay for it.
Oh, okay.
But they
I have
gave
to
me
sit in a
3
corner.
months.
They
free.
gave you 3 months for free, and then they lost 90% of their users overnight. It was hilarious.
They got like Sophie Turner. They got Caitlin Olsen. They got some like heavy hitters.
Do you guys know about Triller yet? Have you heard about Triller?
I think I have. I think
Triller
I've
is the
heard about
new.
it.
That's the new hotness. Mike Tyson's on it. Apparently,
Of
the
course he is.
Mike Tyson's fighting Roy Jones Jr.
I heard about.
I heard about
Charity,
that.
and he's broadcasting it on like whatever pay-per-view, but then also on Triller.
It's a good thing because Mike Tyson was also on the verge of getting into professional wrestling for a hot second there.
That would have been great.
He
That
told
would've
Actually,
me
him and Chris Jericho would have been a lot of fun.
he told me that the God of War had been awakened in him during our interview, and
Shit.
so here we go. I bet he'll win.
He's gonna bring out his inner Kratos.
Yeah, I think so. It was
All right.
crazy when he said it. I was like, whoa, okay.
The God of War has awakened within me. That's a badass quote right there.
Right? I was like, how badass is this person? Like he could have.
Can we get him back on the stream like before or after the fight? Because that'd be awesome. That'd be pretty dope.
Maybe
The God of War.
I don't
has
know,
awakened
man.
within me.
We should just praise the heavens that we got to talk to Mike Tyson once for Shacknews. We might.
Yeah,
Well,
the next step is to
I
get Mike
feel-
Tyson and Ice-T on at the same time.
For real.
Man, I feel like I've done the best here. I pay for Netflix. I get Hulu through Sprint. I got the Amazon Prime, of course, but and then I've paid for Disney Plus because they have the X-Men animated series, a lot of old cartoons I really like to binge watch.
Well, now that you're part of the T-Mobile family, Blake, see about getting Netflix because Netflix is going to be the higher value play.
You
I'm
know what
totally
I
going
subscribe to that no one here does? YouTube Premium.
Oh,
Yeah, you're the
What
only.
is
You're
that?
the
You
only
have
one.
YouTube Red Premium TV. What is YouTube Premium?
YouTube Premium is an ad-free YouTube.
I feel like that's worth it.
I was
At
like,
this point.
I can't live in Ohio in an election year and use YouTube. It's
No, because I am
horrible.
getting Trump ads. God,
I am too.
YouTube
I can't
Premium might
do
actually
it.
be worth
I'm
it.
like, I'll pay you YouTube just to not show me Trump ads.
Ozzy,
So
have
whatever,
you-
it's a tax write-off
whatever.
anyway. So
Ozzy, have you seen the Trump ad with like the old lady who's calling 911? There's no one there, and then the burglar breaks into her house.
yeah, I've seen that.
Oh, for fuck's
God
sake.
damn.
Yeah.
This is why I subscribe to YouTube Premium, guys.
No, you just sold me on YouTube.
I think you have. I think you have.
I'm sorry, it's super expensive and not really worth it, but it's totally worth it.
How much is it?
I think it might be 10.
10?
It's expensive.
I mean, the ads are so intrusive on YouTube. I think that might actually be worth it.
You know what? See, the thing is, until we
You
start
get a
talking
1 month
Trump
free
ads-
trial, Ozzy. So maybe do it in like October. Like when
Yeah,
it's
I
like
think
right-
I think I might do the free trial.
No, here's the thing though. Like YouTube ads suck, but like most of them are just.
It's
5
actually
seconds.
worse. It's $11.99. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
no.
Look.
I'm paying double Hulu. I'm paying
Look,
double my Hulu price just to block ads on YouTube. What the hell?
Look, I watch a lot of YouTube.
I do too.
So do I. We have to. It's our job.
I watch like a lot though. I watch more than most people. I listen to music almost exclusively on YouTube now.
Oh, so it's just playing.
Yeah. Like
Yeah, okay.
the Dan Patrick Show, for instance. That's a 3-hour show that airs on YouTube. I'll have it on in the background while I work. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like
hell
YouTube is an app that I use.
I can't believe you're actually going to talk me into this.
Do you
No.
get ads?
I'm not. I'm just telling you that there's a free 1 month trial and you should time it with the election.
I'm gonna do that.
That's what I'm going to tell you. I don't think it's worth it, but it's kind of worth it because I hate YouTube ads so much.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
like all the other
That's
crap
fair.
YouTube does, everything they do with your data, they still do. All they do is remove the ads. That's it. Like
is season 3 of Cobra Kai coming? I'm sure it got delayed.
it's not going to be on YouTube.
It's going to be on. It's going somewhere.
Netflix.
It's in Netflix?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it went to Netflix.
Does that mean the whole series is going to be on Netflix?
Potentially, yes.
Seriously?
Hang on.
What
Let
happened?
me.
How did
Like,
they-
that's usually how it works.
Because Google is
Licensing.
horribly managed, and YouTube specifically within Google is terribly managed.
one of the freshest shows in years.
Yes,
Ironically.
Netflix is going to get the whole series.
The last episode of season 2
Yeah,
is the best television episode I've ever seen.
it's hilarious.
That last 10-minute, the fight scene at the end,
Yeah. Oh,
I just go back and watch it.
it's
I'd
great.
laugh every time.
Hey, yeah, that's a quick segue. Ozzy, I beat the Karate Kid on NES this morning.
How'd you do that?
Save state.
And why'd you do that?
Because little kid me got to rent a game from Video Safari every weekend. One weekend I chose Karate Kid. You know how it is. That's your game for the weekend.
Mhm.
So you're like, this game is a piece, like this game is poopy or whatever you say when you're 9, but I'm going to make this work. And I never beat it because that game is bullshit.
Just
It
for
is.
everybody listening, just know that we're in such a place in the Death Stranding times
Oh,
that David Craddock woke up on a random August morning and thought, I'm going to beat Karate Kid on NES.
that's
Well,
exactly
he
what
messaged
happened.
me a few days ago. He's like, I finally played Pitfall for the first time. I'm like, man, like,
Oh,
David's
you're
going
in for a
deep
hell of a
cuts.
ride.
That was for a book.
I know.
Next week. But yeah.
I know, but it was just funny. I'm
Pitfall,
like,
Pitfall, at least you can say that's a piece of history. So there's
Yeah.
a,
And it's
there's a
actually
reason he's
good.
playing
That game
that.
is so fun. But
it's
Karate
not
Kid,
as low as I felt, Ozzy. I started watching F-Zero GP Legend anime.
that's true. Asif is the bar, and the bar is.
Is that on
That was the
Crunchyroll?
No,
Which
it
is a
was on-
service I do not subscribe to
No,
yet.
it was on YouTube. I watched some
Okay.
pirated VHS rip of it or something.
we have Crunchyroll right now. That's one of the two.
You have
Crunchyroll has
Crunchyroll?
Crunchyroll has the Phoenix Wright anime, which
See,
I
there's
kind of want to
another
watch.
one.
That service is so terrible though. It doesn't have
It
a
really
recently
is.
watched list. It doesn't have a I want to watch this list. It doesn't.
I think that's why I didn't end up getting it.
It's
Is because
so-
the service is garbage.
But yeah, I haven't had YouTube TV in like 4 months.
Oh, okay.
Whenever they went up to $55, I'm like, no.
Yeah,
I
when they raise their price, it's like, why are you cutting the cord at that point?
They added
It's
a
the same
bunch.
shit now.
Yeah, they added a bunch of channels I didn't want, and like really, all I wanted, I got it at a time when the Cavs weren't trash,
yeah,
right?
That's
and I
true.
think it was like $35 a month, and the Cavs didn't suck, right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
had motivation to watch that.
Yeah.
Now the Cavs are trash. They don't even play. They weren't even invited to the bubble.
That's true.
Like, that's
So
how
you
bad
guys can
we
stay
are.
home.
Like,
We
you
don't
guys
need
don't
you.
even you guys just chill out. We'll see you next season. That's how bad the Cavs are this year. So I have no incentive to watch Fox Sports Ohio, which was one of those things, right? The
Yeah.
carrots in front of me.
Yeah.
And now if it's like, oh, I can watch CNBC, who gives a shit? I can go on CNBC.com and click live and listen to their audio if I want to. Like it's not video, but I can at least listen to their live broadcast, right?
Yeah.
And there's YouTube for clips and interviews of people. Like it's just, I don't know. I don't miss live television really, like at all. I'm more interested. I don't think I'll ever stop using Netflix. Netflix is the stickiest of my subscriptions, and then Hulu. Those are the two that like I actually like. I feel like I get a good value from.
I actually like Prime Video. They've had some good hits recently.
I will never forgive them. They canceled the Tick.
Yeah, that does suck. But
what is their market cap? I just want to know
you're Amazon. You have more money than God, and you
have a market cap of $1.6 trillion. But you're like, nope, we got to cancel.
You're drawing the line at the Tick.
We're gonna draw the line at canceling the Tick.
Why? Because it's gonna bankrupt you.
That's why, like, I for a second I liked Amazon Prime Video, and then they did that to me, and I was like betrayed. Because where was that decision made? Like, why do you have to fucking ruin the Tick?
Yeah, they should never have to cancel anything. But Wheel of Time is coming to Prime Video, so
that will be cool.
I'm in.
Also, they have a show about Jews hunting Nazis.
Man on the High Tower?
I know.
Oh,
no, it's called Hunters.
Hunters?
I think that's what it's called.
That sounds cool. Is it good?
That's neat.
I haven't watched it yet, but I'm into the premise a lot.
Dude,
Laura loves Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Hungrier and hungrier for Canes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we might have to wrap up soon because
just yesterday, Jeff Bezos sold $3 billion of his stock.
Yeah,
and he had to cancel the Tick. Fuck you, Jeff Bezos.
Did that tick you off?
$3 billion.
Chip
off $50 million from that,
so unnecessary.
And you could fund the Tick for eternity.
You should not be canceling.
It wasn't
any
like those
shows.
were famous people. It was like nobody's on that show, and they were like having breakout roles. Like that show, if you gave that 6 seasons, would have been so good. It's not right how they treat the Tick.
No, it's not.
They even shilled for Alexa on that season 2 premiere.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I don't know. I feel like we've covered everything.
I think it's time to go get some chicken.
Yeah, I need
to go get chicken. Go to shacknews.com for interviews, news, reviews, previews, long reads, whenever David's done with that next one. But there are some right now, like if you're in a QuakeCon sort of mood, you can read about Rocket Jump.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I got to jump out, like, really right now. I'm sorry about this.
That's
okay. I really got to go.
That's all right, Blake.
Hey.
But yeah, you know what? Go read Rocket Jump during QuakeCon at home and read about when Quake was good. Remember when Quake was good, Asa? Because I do.
I do. It was called Quake 1 through 3.
Yes, it was.
And then it got...
4 was all right.
No.
I mean, it wasn't id, but it was all right.
I didn't like 4.
Okay.
It was
Go to the Shacknews YouTube channel and listen to Slasher rant about the Quake games, because that was fun too.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I guess before we leave, we should mention that we're also on twitch.tv/Shacknews. You can go there to watch our live streams. Last week, during the IGDA Play It Forward campaign, we raised $14,000 for their charity. I beat 3 people from the world of games media in a 3v1 Rocket League match.
That was pretty. Is that online yet? Can I?
It's on Twitch, but I need to like. It needs to be properly highlighted.
You need to like cut that out. Yeah,
it needs to be properly highlighted still. But it's an amazing video game feat. It might be the best thing I've ever done in Rocket League, even though they weren't like necessarily the best Rocket League players.
It's still hugely overwhelming odds.
Yeah, and like at one point they started attacking me, so it was like they were literally trying to kill me while playing Rocket League. I felt like I was being targeted.
It's like how we started to target you in Wreckfest after a while.
That's so true. Man, last night I was at the Wreckfest Shack battle and I was getting targeted left and right. Crustar was just like, that's all he was doing.
I might get in on that next week.
Oh, man, it's so good. Every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, we're playing Wreckfest over.
Cool, I might get in on that.
It's so good. Everyone's looking forward to it. It's been great. You can find out more about Shack battles on shacknews.com/chatty. That's our community. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/ShackNewsGames, and also GamerHub videos. Interview content over at GamerHub. You got more unboxings, gameplays, other interviews. We're doing live stream highlights over on our Shack News YouTube channel. But both of those channels are good. You should subscribe to them. It's the easiest way to support us is to watch our YouTube content. It's free to do. and it creates ad revenue for us. We don't really run ads on our site, so that's one way to support us. You can also go on shacknews.com and click on our you'll see a picture of my dog Lola on the side if you don't block ads. And she is the face of our subscription service. It's called Mercury. It starts for as little as $1 a month. You can support our site. It goes up to $1,000. There's all sorts of stuff. I may have finally started shipping stuff out again because I figured out a way to do it all from the office.
Yeah, you needed to find a way to do it safely. I don't blame you.
I don't want to have to go to the UPS store every day.
Nope.
I don't need to add that to my life during the pandemic.
Yeah.
But that's, we're trying to get the last year's shirts out, last year's hoodies out, and then work on whatever this year's shirt design would be. See if our shirt supplier can even make shirts, because they had switched to making PPE last I had talked to them. Like the whole facility was dedicated to making masks and gowns and face shields. So we'll see if that's what they're still doing or not. I hope they're doing well, because I love the shirts that we make and the hoodies we make and everything. Yeah, those are the places to go support us. We're on Twitter at Shacknews. We're on Facebook too, right? Everyone loves Facebook. Everyone still uses it. All you fucking
don't love it.
You're still fucking using Facebook. You're all like, I just love Mark Zuckerberg. I'm gonna eat him up in my mouth. Give me all that Zuckerberg. Yeah. And if you use Instagram, you're part of the problem. If you use WhatsApp, you're also part of the problem. Just to remind you, it's not just Facebook. You can be like, I'm deleting my Facebook account. I'm gonna post about it on Instagram. You didn't do shit. It's the same platform. You gotta really do your research if you want to hurt these companies. The only way to hurt these companies is to stop supporting them.
Your profile is still on Facebook.
I know. You know why?
No.
I have to manage the Shack News account, and the only way to manage a Shack News account is to have an active Facebook account. That's the only reason. When was the last time my Facebook account actually posted something? I think by accident I might have posted a Shack News thing recently.
So you don't love Facebook, but you have to use it for a reason.
I hate it, and I think that it's awful, and I think that the fact that I have to use it is like I'm part of the problem. I think that anyone who actively posts their own personal information to it is a mark.
I'm picturing South Park, Mark Zuckerberg. You are trying to block me.
Yeah.
Go watch that episode again, Asif.
My style. You can't handle my style.
Mark Zuckerberg's going through your fridge.
Yeah. Exactly. I don't know. I'm sure that I'm wrong about this, and Facebook's just a fine company and is doing nothing wrong with any of your data. And I'm sure it won't horribly influence the election or anything. But you know what? If you can make a few more dollars after being on Facebook, but I'm sorry. Blake telling me that the music scene is connected on Facebook is the saddest thing I've ever heard about.
I didn't defend Facebook. I'm not. Yeah.
I understand it's a tool. It's a communication tool. That's fine. But like people who actively use it.
No, that's not.
If you get your news from there, that's a problem.
No.
But yeah, and that's why we stopped posting our RSS feed there.
Yeah.
So if you want our RSS feed, go to Twitter or just go to the website. You remember websites? Remember destination websites? Remember going to websites?
And Asif, let's say someone was on social media or on shacknews.com and they saw an article and they wanted to share it. Should they just throw it out there? Or is there
No, I'll get on my soapbox. If you're on the internet, which you probably are because you're listening to us through a series of tubes, and say you're on Chatty and you see a Shack News article and you're like, blah, 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 blah. You just reply without actually clicking the link. Don't do that. Actually click the link, read the article. Yeah. Maybe vet the information. See if Shack News got it right. Go see if their source was right or if they listed a source. If they didn't, I'm going to be mad because we're always supposed to list a source. Unless it's like direct from PR, right? But usually we would mention that there.
Right.
Find out if it's real or not before you react to it. Or find out if whatever bullshit you're bringing to comment is valid. Or maybe it's already addressed in the article. The other most important thing right now is you might be sharing fake news. You might see some article that says masks don't matter because dirty masks get people sick. And your conclusion is that masks don't matter. And I've seen this on social media where people post this. They don't even post the article. They post a screen cap of a headline.
Yeah.
And they're like, facts. And I'm like, you didn't even read the article. So read the article, click the link, and if you care about the people creating the content, it helps them. It says, look how many page views this person got for writing this article. You know, look how many video views this podcast got or audio plays it got. That helps the people who you care about, if you care about the people creating the content. If you don't, fine. Go be a mindless idiot on Facebook some more and just scroll for eternity. That's what they want you to do. They want you to sit there and fucking scroll for eternity and never leave their platform. That's what it's designed for.
That's what all social media is designed for.
I don't know. What's your definition of social media?
Social media platform, Twitter, Facebook.
Twitter does not disincentivize hyperlinks.
No, they don't.
It incentivizes.
They want you to keep scrolling, though.
Facebook hides hyperlinks from people's feeds.
They do.
So that's cool.
LinkedIn
is cool for spreading information on the internet. That's super helpful, Facebook. Way to be super helpful in spreading information and not misinformation. Oh, wait. You incentivize images, so I should screen cap fake news articles and post them and it'll get more engagement than actual news? That sounds like a fine platform. You guys should all use it. But yeah, click the fucking link. Do it for Shacknews. And then go Sexy Bill the Cameraman's Extra Mile. But I doubt you will. And actually vet the information. That's like next level reading right there. If you actually vet what you're reading before you go out and share it. There's an old journalist I follow on social media. His name's Walt Mossberg. He works for the News Literacy.
I found this on the web.
Shut the fuck up, Siri! Holy shit!
Oh God!
Fuck you so much, Siri.
Oh my goodness!
Technology run amok.
I'm at a loss of words.
I think.
Anyway, he runs the News Literacy Project. It's a really good thing. It teaches young people how to spot fake news and how to prevent sharing of fake news.
That is a good thing.
I would just recommend that. I'd like to kind of highlight that during this soapbox going forward because I think they're one of the few people or entities out there that they hear me and they're doing something about it, and I appreciate them.
Like Siri, she hears you and she's trying to do something.
She's so fucking terrible. Steve Jobs is dead. That's the end of the episode. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Shackcast. Blake left, so there's no song.
Womp womp.
Is this?